Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Shauna Woodbury is suing her brother, Laird Williams, and his wife, Leah, for damage to her rental car.
Order. All rise. That's case number 14 on the calendar, the matter Woodbury versus Williams.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Woodbury, this is your brother.
Yes.
And this is his wife.
Yes.
And this is the story as I understand it. Your brother and his wife were having some marital difficulties. That is true, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And during that time, your brother asked you to do him a favor. The favor was to rent a car to drive him someplace. Where did you want to go?
I was going to Minneapolis.
From where you were living with your wife?
Right.
What were you going to do in Minneapolis?
Stay with my brother.
But you wanted to take the children with you.
Yeah, I did.
I'm asking you a question.
I did.
And how many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
4 and 5 months.
So you asked your Minneapolis with your 2 children.
Right.
How'd you discuss taking the children with you to Minneapolis with your wife?
Somewhat.
What do you mean somewhat? What does that mean?
I told her that I would take the kids with me.
And what did she say?
She did not deny it. She didn't say.
No. What did she say? Did she say it was okay? Did she say, I don't want you to take the kids with you?
Well, at the time, we were upset, and she was like, go ahead, take them.
Is that correct?
Yes, because I trust him with our children.
I don't care. Wait, listen. I don't need your editorializing now.
Okay.
If you're fighting with your husband and he says, I'm going to leave and go to my brother in Minneapolis and I'm going to take the 4-year-old and the 5-month-old, I would either say, you're not going to take them or you're going to take them. Not because you're not. You could take them because he loves his children. Well,
because I really didn't believe him that he was going to leave.
Well, that may be an answer. That may be a legitimate answer. Well, then you show up with your brother in the rental car. This is according to you. And on what date is that?
February 28th.
And what date did you go with your brother to pick up the children?
I didn't go with my brother to pick up the children.
You didn't. Who did?
He went by himself to pick up the children.
Okay. You went by yourself?
No.
Look at me.
No.
Who did you go with?
I mean, I was by myself, but I didn't go pick up the children that day, though.
What, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
On federal car that your sister had rented for you.
Right.
And you went back to the marital home.
Yes.
You never know where I'm going to go, sir. So where you have to go is the truth.
That's what I'm listening.
So you went back to the marital home.
Right.
And what happened when you got there?
Nothing. I went back there later on that night, so it wasn't.
What time did you go back there?
Late, probably 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Midnight.
Yeah, somewhere around
Midnight
there.
or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then what happened?
Nothing happened that night. I mean, the next day I ended up back out to their house, and I pretty much decided that I wasn't going up to my brother's because we had talked and everything, so I changed my mind about that.
What do you think you're doing here, Mr. Williams?
I'm here because they're actually trying to sue for damages that they did to the vehicle they sell.
Okay. So your sister is suing you because she said when you went to pick up the children.
Right. I didn't go pick up the children, though.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. We rented the vehicle for the rental on February 28th. On March 1st, 2016, he got a call from her stating that he needed to come and pick his kids up because she was upset. Okay, this is what he told me. So my husband, he goes to the house or whatever, and from my understanding...
Not your understanding.
No, well, from what I know, she came...
Just a second. You can't tell me anything that you didn't see unless your brother, who was a party, told you what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get to that.
And so he calls my husband, which is right there, Marcus Woodbury. That's my husband. He calls my husband.
You can't tell me. Mr. Woodbury, you want to tell me about the conversation that you had with Mr. Williams on March 1st?
Yes, I got a call about 10, 11 that morning. He was telling me that, yeah, she went and busted the windows. I had told him prior, don't go down there because they was having problems. And you in this rental, she go do something to it. He decides to go down there because she said, come get the kids or whatever. He goes down there, he calls me. She busted the windows, bro. I calls my wife, texts my wife, tell her what happened, picked her up for work. I called off work.
That's not the truth.
And Went down there. He was at his friend's house. We seen the rental, busted all out. Called the police, made the report.
Do you have the police report?
That is not
I'd like
the
to
truth.
see it, please. Can I see an estimate, please, of the damage? And you not go to Minneapolis?
When I went home that night on the 28th, the next day, we were together talking and everything. I ended up giving him the vehicle back. So he had possession of the vehicle. He went over to his mom's house and ended up coming to me with the vehicle already damaged.
And how did he tell you it got damaged?
Who?
How did he tell you it got damaged?
He told me when he came to me talking about the car was damaged, I seen the damages. He didn't want his license to get messed up or something, he was saying. And basically what it was is that since me and her had got back into it again, that's what it was. And it was like,
I don't
That's not
understand.
true.
yes, because she
Anything-
was like, because
I have a
me and her had
witness.
got back.
I have a
this
witness.
was 2 days, 3 days prior to
Right
that.
there. I have a
3 days prior to that.
Shh. Who is your witness?
My witness is Sandra Jackson. Ma'am, I don't know this lady from a can of paint. I have never met her before. The reason how I got her as a witness is because I went over there to where they used to stay, and I knocked on several neighbors' doors. And when I got to the 5th neighbor house, before I could get the words white Chevy car or anything out of my mouth, they finished the sentence for me.
Would you stand up, please?
And
You
what?
can sit down.
What?
Name.
Sandra Jackson.
How long did you live a few houses away from the Williamses?
Maybe a year and a half to 2
Could
years.
you sit down, sir? And were you a witness to anything that happened with Mrs. Williams and this white Chevrolet?
Yes.
Tell me what you observed.
I heard some arguing about 10:30 that morning, and I went to my bedroom window. They were arguing
Where were they arguing?
outside of their house, but she was inside of the house at the time.
And where was he?
He was outside by the car.
So they were yelling at each other?
Yes.
From inside the house?
Mhm.
Okay, so that was loud. Go ahead.
And then she came out the house with a big brick in her hand. And then I seen her threw it at the windshield, then it bounced on the hood, kind of close to her. Then she picked it back up and threw it again. And that was it.
Can I ask a question? I have the pictures.
I'd like to see them.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the picture. So you trying to tell me she ran out the house with a brick?
I didn't say run.
You said, no, you said she came out the house
Don't
with a
speak-
brick.
Don't speak
Who
to her.
got bricks in their
Don't-
house?
Don't speak to her.
Yes.
Don't speak to her.
Sir.
That don't even make sense.
She did.
That makes no sense.
What I seen.
Who did you rent the car from?
We rented the car from Enterprise. Now, what I presented to you first, hood with the pictures of the 3 vehicles that's on there. And
I
then
don't have a bill for $542.
I think I still got that right here. And then the other one, the 219, it might be 540. I can't remember. It's 540 something. It might be 546. But then the 219, that's
second.
for the windshield itself.
Balance shown above. 540, 10 days. Okay. So the remaining balance is $542.85.
For the hood. There's another paper up there for the windshield with the pictures to go with the windshield as well.
Oh, I got you. One is for $542
One is
and one
for-
is for $219.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I really can't believe that he told that lie because
Why?
I don't.
it doesn't
Sit
matter.
down.
But if you want
Sit.
to...
Sit. I told you not to speak. I told you not to speak. What part of don't speak don't you understand?
Later today,
Do you think that I'm going to give you $2,300 for a 30-year-old truck that you loaned to your son for the insurance that you paid on it, the registration that you paid on it? That's ridiculous.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shauna Woodbury says her brother, Laird Williams, rental car.
Go ahead.
I really can't believe that he told that lie, which it doesn't matter to me because
Why?
I don't.
it doesn't
Sit
matter if she's lying or not.
Sit down.
But if you want to...
Sit.
But if you would like to see, I sent her, Leah, a text message on April 7th telling her that she had till April 8th to give me the money for the rental or I'm going to press full charges and it's a felony and she's going to go to jail. She texted me back and said, do what you got to do. Not only did I send a text message to her, though, I also sent a text message to my brother. I said, I don't really care. I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. I don't really care about you dealing with Leah. I'm still slapping the out of her, and she got till tomorrow, which was the 8th, to pay me for the rental, or I'm pressing full charges as and it's a felony. He said, sis, you do know the courts are not giving me the kids. If she's in jail and her sister don't take them, who will be there staying? I said, okay, so who gonna pay for the rental? They want to garnish Marcus' check, and I'm not having that, my husband.
And what did he say?
And he said, I will make sure she do before that happens. I said, okay. He said, okay, thanks for her sake.
Okay. I told you not to speak. I told you not to speak. What part of don't speak don't you understand?
I haven't spoken.
$761 judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
Parties are excused, Miss.
Do too much for you to lie on me.
I didn't have nothing to do with it.
We're going to get over it.
Blood is thicker than water at the end of the day, but it's okay, though.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Helms versus Helms, step forward.
Catherine Helms is suing her son, Wesley Helms, for the value of a truck, insurance, and maintenance costs.
Mrs. Helms, this is your son. How many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
He's 28 and his sister's 27.
This case has something to do with the truck that you loaned to your son.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you loan the truck to him?
In March of 2015.
And when did he return it to you?
January 17th, 2016.
So he had the truck for 10 months. That's a long loan. Did you drive the truck?
Prior to him taking it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my driver constantly.
What did you use after he took it?
I either had to get someone to take me places or borrow.
Well, yeah, I'm not buying all of that, that you gave away your only car if you were driving it.
Ma'am, that was the only vehicle I had.
Yes.
You know, her and her boyfriend have 3 other vehicles, so that wasn't the only vehicle they had to
My
drive.
partner has other vehicles. I do not.
Well, then let's try to be totally straightforward to me. Do you live with someone?
Yes.
And how long have you lived with that person? And how many cars does your partner have?
3.
And what kind of cars are they?
He has a 2009 Chevrolet pickup, and he has 2 1987 Samurai Suzukis.
So that the 2 of you have access to 3 vehicles to get you wherever you want to go without the truck. The 2 of you have access to 3 vehicles to get you one place or another. So that when you said to me, you have to get other people to take me around, that wasn't actually true.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Well, why couldn't you use one of the 3 vehicles that you had at home?
Well, one thing is I can't afford the deductible on Dan's pickup.
What do you mean you can't afford the deductible on his pickup?
If I were to have an accident. I'm not on his insurance.
Come on, Mrs. Helms. I'm not buying all this. So give me some ideas. You loaned your son this truck. What year truck was it?
1989 S15 pickup.
So we have a car that's now 30 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And he had it for 10 months, and he returned it to you 10 months later, and now tell me what you're suing him for.
I am suing him for the maintenance and everything that I had taken care of while he had my truck. Payment on the insurance that I kept on the truck the entire time, the licensing that I took care of, the registration, and the taxes that I'd paid on it while he had it, and then my truck being ruined on the day he brought it.
From where?
He drove it from Clever, Missouri to Osceola.
And how many hours is that?
Approximately.
About an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. So he drove the truck. He drove this 30-year-old truck back to you. Now, when you got the 30-year-old truck back, Mrs. Holmes, you got it back in January.
Yes.
What did you do with it?
Actually, he picked me up.
What did you do with it? Where is it now?
It's salvaged.
So you got rid of it?
Yes.
When did you get rid of it?
January 17th, approximately a day or 2 next.
It was sold the next day.
Salvaged?
No, it wasn't. It was my brother-in-law, Chet, and my sister have it now. They're...
Stand up. Let's not play with each other. Move over there. You have the use of this 1989 truck?
No.
When did you have use of the 1989 truck? Look at me. Don't look at her. Look at me. When did you have use of the 89 truck?
I never had use of it. It was sold to someone that worked for me.
Who?
A salesman that works at my car lot.
What was the salesman's name?
Rob.
Rob what? And on what date was it sold to him?
I believe the 25th of January.
Your mother-in-law lied when she said she salvaged it, right? Sit.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Drivable.
We're just tripping over ourselves, one trip after another.
Welcome to my life.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Catherine Helms says her son, Wesley Helms, owes for a truck, insurance, and maintenance costs.
Now, why would you tell me you salvaged it?
Well, because it wasn't drivable.
Nah, we're just tripping over ourselves one trip after another.
Welcome to my life.
Rob told me that he would buy the truck for $200 and he was going to pull the motor out and try and make a race car out of it because the motor was no good.
Do you think that I'm going to give you $2,300 for a 30-year-old truck that you loaned to your son for 10 months for the expenses, the insurance that you paid on it, the registration that you paid on it? Miss Helms, that's ridiculous.
Well, he had offered me $1,000 for it back in November.
You should have taken it.
Well, I was offered $15 if he'd bring the truck home.
You got to know a good
You
deal
should,
when you
just
get
a
one.
second. You should have taken it. If he offered you $1,000, why didn't you take it?
Because
From your son. Just a second. From your son. If he needed a truck so badly that he was using your 30-year-old truck when you sent dollars for it, why wouldn't you take that?
Well, Your Honor, I'd been trying to get him to the truck was supposed to have been home the first 2 weeks of March, but it wasn't.
I don't care.
But after, when he said he says, I'll give you $1,000 for it because I've got a buddy that'll give me $15. Well, my partner, Dan, says, I'll give you $15 for it and get the truck
What do you
home.
mean your partner?
Dan, the man I live with.
It's her boyfriend.
Your partner said, I'll give you 15.
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't you let your son have it for 1,000?
Because my son has borrowed from me before and I never saw it, so it would have been one of those type of deals also.
Anything you want to tell me?
The truck was, you know, it was in disrepair when I got it. I fixed some things on it. The whole reason.
And you used it for 10 months?
I did.
And you drove it to your mother's house?
Yes, I did.
You didn't tow it to your mother's house. You drove it.
Absolutely not.
You
Yep.
drove it to
Yes,
your mother's
ma'am.
house.
I drove it up on the 17th or whatever she's saying, and it's an hour and a half from my house, and the heater core was leaking in it, which she's known about it for
Don't
years.
tell me what she knew.
Okay.
You can't tell me what she knew.
Anyway.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I got back up there, I picked her up and we took off at about 30 minutes to Chet's house for a birthday party for my nephew. And then it popped about 20 miles after that. We just kept putting water in it so it wouldn't overheat, so we could make it to their place.
And did you make it?
We did make it.
And did you make it home?
Yes, but I didn't take the truck home.
So what did you do with the truck?
I
You
left the truck there.
And how many days later did you sell this truck to your buddy who works for you?
It was roughly a week.
And does he still work for you?
Yes.
And does he use the truck to get to and from work?
No.
What does he do with the truck?
All he's done with it so far is disassemble it, all of the parts that are bad now.
Okay, so he's working on it.
Yes.
And so you sold it to him, and I assume that if he works in the car business, he knew his business. How much did he pay for the car?
He paid her $200 for the car.
Do we have anything else?
It was just time to go back to the car, guys.
Do we have anything else? Good. We're done. Your case is dismissed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I have tried so hard, and I have given him things and done without.
You know, there's always two sides to every story.
He knows that is the only thing that I own other than my clothing.
My whole life, it's always been, no, pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip.
I love him, and he knows that.
Help your mom out if you can. Help anybody out if you can.
You brought it into the defendant's repair shop to fix it.
A vehicle held hostage.
He's been paid in full, and my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months.
Is her car running now?
Yes.
What? Says when?
And she's about to blow a gasket.
He refuses to give me my money back.
He's not going to give you your money back.
Of course he's not. That's why we're here.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jacqueline Pewitt is suing car dealer Freeman Munger for the return of her car, lost wages, and emotional distress.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 85 on the calendar in the matter of Pewitt versus Monger.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat.
Miss Pewitt, what kind of car do you have?
It's a 1999 Mazda Millennia.
And when did you purchase it?
I've been had that car maybe about 3 years.
Who did you purchase it from?
From a private owner.
And how much did you pay for it?
$2,000.
At some point, you were having some trouble with the car, and you brought it in to...
That was on August 4th of 2015.
What kind of work do you do?
I am an account executive for a company, Central Payments.
Are you still working for them?
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
Where are you working now?
Right now, I'm unemployed.
When did you become unemployed?
The first of this year, when my car wasn't running and I couldn't get around to do my job.
Well, you brought your car in August.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working in August?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
September?
No, ma'am.
You told me that you lost your job January 1st when you could no longer get around.
But I was still actually employed with that company. They still had me. If I could do the work, I could still do it. After the car wasn't fixed by January the 1st, I could no longer work for them.
That's not what I asked you. I want to know if you got a paycheck from the company in September of 2015.
No, ma'am, I did not.
October of 2015.
I did not.
November 2015.
No, ma'am.
December of 2015.
No, ma'am.
So that you were unemployed as of August of 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's better.
Okay.
Just getting to know the people that I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Now, it's your claim that you brought your car in to the defendant to be fixed in August, that you fully paid for the repairs on the car, and the defendant refuses to give you the car. His claim is that you didn't fully pay for the car, and he's got a counterclaim for storage. Brought the car in August, and who did you see, Miss Pewitt?
I saw Mr. Munger.
Okay, and did he tell you how much the car would be to be fixed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you tell her?
The car just didn't start with the motor. It started from another problem she was having with the car. That problem was taken care of.
When?
I can't give you the exact date because...
Give me a month.
It was in August.
What was wrong with the car then?
She had ran over something, and she needed an oil pan and a radiator. And that's what caused her to mess that motor up.
How much did you charge her when she came in August?
The initial job wasn't but $400. And it was $4 something. I don't know the exact figure.
Well, let's figure it out. I mean, we're in court today. We have to know what we're in court for. Do you work for him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can we move this along, please, before I start pulling my hair out? The initial job when she brought in the car in August.
Yes, ma'am. It was for a oil pan gasket along with a tune-up set. With the parts and the labor included, it was about roughly $100.
Would you show me the receipt and the bill? Show me all your paperwork on that initial...
The first one?
Yes.
On the initial paperwork, Your Honor?
The initial paperwork.
Okay, I don't have all the receipts for the initial
paperwork. Just a second.
paperwork.
Well, then I'll rely on her.
Well, she might not have everything
I don't know whether she does or not. You have nothing.
I have something.
Well, show me what you have.
There was no payment made on that until September.
That's fine. Did she make a payment in September?
Yes, ma'am, but it was after she brought the car back for the motor job. And we told her that we couldn't take on...
Just a second. Did she pay you August 18th, because the dates on this are crossed out, of 2015, $140?
No, I don't have... No.
That is
She promised to make...
Don't speak.
She
That
promised...
is a lie, Your Honor.
What part of don't speak didn't you follow? I want you to tell me how much in total payments, everything, you received...
$780.
$780.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I don't know what this is for. This.
Your
with
Honor,
a crossed-out
if you want to allow me a
date.
chance to explain,
Just a second. With a crossed-out date in
allow
August.
me an opportunity to tell you what that is.
I want you to tell me exactly what this is.
Okay. On August the 4th, 2015, I took my car to Mr. Munger's place of business to have an oil leak fixed, okay?
You're not answering
I'm going to tell you what the receipt...
I don't want you to tell me your story. We got finished with you running your story when I asked you...
You never gave me a chance to tell
my
you
story. When you were employed, you didn't have a car.
That's the only part you told. You said to me. You didn't give me a chance to explain my story about the car.
And what I'm telling you is, I want you to tell me where you got this, not the rest of them.
That was the last payment for it, the oil leak that was done. The oil leak was $440. That was the last payment of $140.
And who signed this payment?
The same person that signed all the other receipts.
No, it was It was a different person.
Well, if it was still somebody that's employed by Mr. Munger. That's who signed the receipt.
Okay.
Because we're talking about two separate instances.
No. I know exactly. I read your complaint, madam. I read your complaint, and what your complaint said was in August you brought your car in because it had an oil leak. You picked up the car from him. You fully paid them for the car when you picked up the car. You took the car home, and then it still wasn't running correctly. It broke down. You brought the car back to him. You fully paid for him to do other work on the car, and he refuses to give you the car. That's your story. Now I'm asking you some serious questions. This is your evidence. You gave me 4 receipts. 3 receipts total exactly what this lady says that you gave to them in total, which is $780 in total for all the work. Well, you have receipts signed by her. You're not paying attention.
I'm looking right at you,
You're not paying it. Signed by her that aren't crossed out, that aren't changed in any way for $780. You have 1 receipt.
That receipt does not have anything to do with the motor part of it. So we can disregard that because when I put that on there, those are receipts that I could find, and that's what got scanned. That receipt was the last payment for the oil leak problem, starting with the next receipt. And the other 2 are the ones that pertain to the motor, along with this right here, where they lost my key. I had to go purchase another key. There's 1 other receipt that I did not get from them. A $65 payment is the only thing that I didn't receive, that I did not get from him. I paid him a total of $925 for the motor. He said $800 for the motor, $125 for the radiator. He's been paid in full. And my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months. He refuses to give me my money back.
All I asked you was what this receipt was for.
That receipt was for the last payment.
And just a second. And who signed it?
Judge Judy, if you let me look at it, I probably could tell you who signed it.
You handed it to me.
Whoever signed it is somebody that works for his company. That's him. That's his signature at the bottom of that receipt. And that was the last payment for the motor part. That has, for the oil leak. That has no with, because they lost the key to my car. I had to go and buy a key because they couldn't do it because they needed proper documentation in order to have a key made. So
now, she paid you, according to you,
yes, ma'am,
$780.
Yes,
that's all that she has receipts for.
No, it's not.
I'm not looking at you now.
No, it's not.
I'm not looking at you now. That's all that you have receipts for that I accept. $780. What I want to know from you is what was the cost that you quoted her for the second repair to the car?
It was, the labor was $390.
Show me. But
Your Honor, if you were to add
I don't want to hear from you. This is not ending up with $5,000 for you. I want you to understand that.
I don't know how.
This is the motor job.
Give us the receipt for the motor.
She didn't ask for one yet.
Now I want to see the first job.
Thought I just gave it to you.
Is that
yeah, that's the first one.
$241.
That's the labor. The parts is on that yellow receipt.
Just a sec. I'm interested in your receipts, your bills. Engine oil pan, $130. Spark plugs, labor, all of this together was $241.44 for the first job.
That's the labor, not the parts. The cost, the customer payment, what they owe is circled. That's O'Reilly's. It's their prices. He paid for those parts, so she has to pay for her parts and the labor.
I'm discounting this.
Okay.
This is her invoice because you have a $5,000 ridiculous counterclaim that I want you to forget about, too. Now, she has a car that's maybe worth $1,500. She brings it into you, and you're charging her $1,500 to get the car up and running. Is her car up and running now? Is her car running now?
Yes.
What? When was the
engine? The motor is knocking. You came, Miss Jackie. You came up there.
Don't. I'm going to say goodbye to you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Great.
The motor is not in the best condition. The motor is knocking. The motor was no good. We bought the motor used to get the discounted price, a good price for it. So by the time she came and made another payment so that we could go ahead and finish the job, the 30-day warranty was over and it was done. And we told her that we can fix it again, but she has to buy a new motor because she's still old. He had already paid for everything.
He's complete. With the money that she paid you so far, he's complete with his, at least the parts that he bought. And the motor that you picked to fix her car doesn't work.
There's a 30-day warranty on
The motor that you picked on her car that never left your lot doesn't work. Now, if she took the car out and there was a 30-day warranty and she drove the car around for 3 weeks and she started to have trouble with it, who knows? But the car never left your lot, so if you picked a bad motor, that's your problem and your boss's problem. Do you understand?
I hear you.
You hear me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Did you ever tell them that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Well, that's the dumb thing he did.
Well,
and we have recording
I'm
to
going to
prove
undo
it.
dumbness.
Okay.
I'm going to undo dumbness.
Please do, because he's very dumb.
No, you're very dumb.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jacqueline Pewitt says car dealer Freeman Munger is withholding her vehicle. Freeman is countersuing for money owed for work completed, storage fees, and harassment.
Now, is her car running or is it not running?
It's running. It's not running in the best condition.
Now, when you brought the car into them, was it running?
No, ma'am. It was towed in.
It was towed in?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go and get the car and take it $780 that I find that I have good receipts for, so you can go and get your car, take it, and if you want to total it, you total it. I'm returning to you the $780 that you paid to have it fixed so far because it's not running properly. Do you understand?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Well, I'm going to say it to you one more time, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Okay. You towed your car in to the defendant's establishment. You can tow it out or you can drive it out. I'm returning to you the $780 that you have receipts for because they did not put in what I consider an appropriate motor, because if it's not running now properly, then you didn't get any part of your money's worth. And what part of that don't you understand? You're getting your car back. You're getting your car back. Put your hand down. You're getting your car back, and $780. That's what you're getting.
May I speak, Your Honor?
That's what you're getting. You're getting your car
I still
back.
have a receipt here for a key that they lost that I had to buy, which goes along with that. I've been trying to give this to him to show this to you.
$780, and she's picking up the car within the next 5 days. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
400 of what you're saying was done for that was payment for the job that had already been
dollars
with the parts.
Listen to me. She's getting her car back plus $780. Do we understand each other?
Well, we're also countersuing for storage fees.
That's denied. $780, and she's picking up her car. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I went to check on my car, called him at least once every 2 weeks.
She didn't even consider the motor I had bought for the car.
Is my car running? No, it's not. The motor we had wouldn't work.
What she gave her back was
I don't care about a motor not working.
Was a credit that we had did in front.
Whatever you got to do. You gave me a fee. I paid you that fee.
That she paid on.
I want my car fixed.
I was trying to help her.
I thought I could trust them, but I couldn't. And now they got up there and lied about what was paid.
That's how I got in trouble helping.
I paid that man in full. If he had told me the motor cost $1,200, $1,200 is what he would have got.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Phillips versus Steele Torres. Step forward.
Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former landlords, 20-year-olds Melvin Steele and girlfriend Azaneth Torres, for the return of their security deposit and rent.
Who's Steele? Are you a couple?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you rent a house or a room? Just a sec. Listen, I ask questions.
Oh, sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You rent a room, people give you $1,700.
Okay.
They're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came?
Yes.
Police as well. They were told, get out of the room.
Okay.
What are you, out of your mind?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former landlords, 20-year-olds Melvin Steele and girlfriend Azaneth Torres, for the return of their security deposit and rent.
Now, you rented a townhouse when?
Probably October 2015.
When did you rent the master bedroom to the plaintiffs, Mr. and Mrs. Phillips?
Month was April.
How much rent did you charge them for the master bedroom?
We charged them $1,000 deposit, and it was supposed to be $1,000 rent, but we brought it down to $800, and they still didn't give us.
Just a second.
Okay.
How much money did they give you in April?
They gave me $1,000 deposit and $600 rent, then $100 a couple days later, and they still owed us $100.
So they gave you in total $1,700.
Yes, they gave me in total $1,700.
On what date did they move in?
Probably be April, between like the 5th to the 7th. Probably a week or two later.
And they were told that they had to get out because you didn't have the right to rent that room, or because you rented the room to somebody else? What was the reason?
The reason was we were supposed to get them on the lease, and at the time they weren't on the lease. Well, we were in the process of doing it.
You rented them the room, and you didn't have the right to rent them the room.
We had the right to rent.
When you rented them the room, you didn't have the right to rent them the room, so they were told to leave. Who told them to leave?
The property manager came in.
Along with somebody else?
Yes, correct.
With who?
Along with somebody else that was supposed to rent from us.
Rent what from you?
We have 3 rooms in a room, okay? And we had somebody else leaving at the end of the month, correct? But then
Not correct. Don't ask me correct.
Oh, no, like, okay,
no,
correct in the terms of...
Mr. Steele, listen carefully, sir.
Sorry.
Listen carefully. You took their $1,700, and a week later they were told they had to get out of the room. That's what the case is about.
Okay.
Why didn't you give them their money back?
I did agree to give them their money back. Now.
So why didn't you do it?
Because there was an agreement that we had. They told us if you give us your TV, you don't have to pay us rent.
Did you ever tell them that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Well, that's the dumb thing he did.
Well,
and we have
I'm
recorded
going to undo dumbness.
Okay.
I'm going to undo dumbness.
Please do, because he's very dumb.
No, people give you $1,700. A week later, they're told by the building management that they can't live there. They're kicked out. And you say, he said he would take the TV instead of his $1,700.
That's not my fault, because we had a discussion. Okay, here, we have to, like, go back a little bit, because...
Just listen to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you advertised for a room. Where did you advertise for the room?
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yes.
So total strangers answered the ad. They gave you $1,000 in cash, another $600, and a couple of days later, another $100. So $1,700 altogether. They're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came?
Yes.
Police as well. They were told, get out of the room.
Okay.
What, are you out of your mind?
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. We're done.
Really?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wow.
Those are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We got our money back. It's awesome. They stole our money and burned many other people at the same time. A week later, we were told we had to move, evicted to us.
2 weeks prior to us even moving in, they had a lawsuit filed against them from the property manager for back rent. So they took our money, and there was other leases that we found in the house because they moved out when we moved in. And there were other leases in the house from like 6 or 7 other people that they took money from. There's people knocking on the door that I'm living there at saying, when am I going to move in? The joke's on all of us.
Yes, just be careful who you rent from.
He immediately started bugging me about my vehicle, telling me it was a death trap.
An over-involved landlord?
He called me and said I went to the bank and I got a $20,000 loan. Let's go get you a car.
And you liked her?
I thought she was a good tenant.
If she was a good tenant, you say thank you for being a good tenant.
And a big heart causes big debt.
I've helped many people in my life. It's the way I am. Sorry.
It all sounds cuckoo to me. Cuckoo.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Randy Myerson is suing his former tenant, Alexandra Kearns, for bail money, unpaid car payments, and property damage.
Order. All rise. 6:28 on the calendar in the matter of Myerson versus Kearns.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Myerson, do you own or rent this house? You own.
I own the house.
And it has, according to you, it has 6 bedrooms, some of which you rent.
That's right.
When did the defendant move into one of the rooms?
October 2014.
When did she move out?
Approximately July 2nd, 2015.
According to you, and according to your complaint during the time that she was there, you loaned her a lot of money for a lot of different things. The aggregate, oh my God, is $5,000. She moved in October of 2014. Had you ever met her before she moved in? When was the first time that you advanced her any money?
She was arrested for DWI in approximately May 20th. That was the first time that I'd given her any money. That was $2,000.
May 20th of 2014.
2015.
And so she was arrested for DUI and?
And she called me from jail. She said that she needed to be bailed out. At first, I balked. I didn't want to give her any money. But she was crying, carrying on, literally begging me to get her out of there. She hated being in jail. She told me that she would give me the money back, pay it back as soon as possible. She said if I didn't help her, nobody else would.
Okay. And how much was her bail?
$2,000.
Was Kearns?
No, ma'am.
When was the first time that Mr. Meyerson advanced you any money?
I moved in October 2014. I was there a month, and he immediately started bugging me about my vehicle, telling me it was a death trap. I was doing...
I don't want you to read from anything.
I was...
I want you to give that to Bird.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. He immediately began bugging me about my 2004 Dodge Neon. He was telling me it was a death trap. He kept asking me if there was somebody that could buy me a car or would. I told him no. I'm 29 years old. I cannot go to mommy and daddy to buy me a car. I was on my way home one day. He called me and said I went to the bank and I got a $20,000 loan. Let's go get you a car. I did not ask him to do that. I was fine with my vehicle. He told me that he would include it in the $550 rent. It was all bills paid, the $350. And I would pay $400 for the insurance.
Just a second. He would include it in your rent or add an amount onto your rent?
Included in the rent.
Of $550.
Of $550, and $350 would go towards the vehicle. This is after a month of me living there. I did find...
Just a minute, is that
No.
correct?
No.
Tell me about the car.
At that time in January, it's true, very true, that I told her that the car was a death trap. It was. So I told her that with my credit, I could also deduct the payment from her rent because I'm still clearing $200 a month. I'm doing fine financially. I didn't need that money. It was just, I got the space. I wanted to do it.
And you liked her?
I thought she was a good tenant. She was paid on time.
Well,
she was
if
quiet.
she was a good tenant, then you say thank you for being a good tenant.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're a bad tenant, you throw them out. If you're a good tenant, you renew their lease.
I did not like her in that sense. I said she was a good tenant.
Did you ever, between October and January, did you and Miss Kearns ever share a meal together?
No.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I barely ever saw her.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
I barely saw her. She was not home. She kept to herself when she was home. She sometimes would have a boyfriend come over for 5 days, let's say, and I'd never see her.
Okay, so that this was an act of goodwill.
Absolutely. I felt sorry for her.
Fine. Let's deal with, then, the car first. So you purchased a car. The car was in whose name?
In his name.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you said that she could use it. It wasn't in her name with you as a lien holder. It was in your name.
Yes.
So you had a car. The car's insurance was paid, and I assume that Miss Kearns was a listed driver on your insurance.
That's true.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Meyerson, let me tell you this. I don't know what you do for a living, intelligent man. What you've just done is substantially complicated your life, your credit, and your liability for, according to you, someone that you know for 2 months who's renting a room from you.
That's true. But, Your Honor, I can explain this.
What?
I can explain this, what my reasoning was. I did not advance her 1 cent.
I just said you complicated your life.
True. But I countered what she
compromised
said.
your credit and increased your liability.
That's true.
For someone that you barely knew, never shared a meal with, knew nothing of their background, and you look like an intelligent man. I just don't understand why an intelligent person does that.
I've helped many people in my life. It's the way I am. Sorry.
How many other cars did you buy for people?
None, but I loaned a friend $100,000.
That's a different story.
Oh, it is?
Loaning a friend money. I always say you never loan somebody money with the expectation of getting it paid back. Because if you get it paid back, great. That means that they were honest and honorable. But most of the time, they will find some excuse not to pay you back. And you will have lost the money and the friend.
She was doing fine.
Just a second. But you're here, Mr. Meyerson.
She was doing fine until
here.
she went off on me one day in June. I want to explain that. No problem, okay? There were no problems. We had no issues. We never argued. She was quiet. She was a good tenant. However,
she was a good tenant who, according to you, was paying $550 a month rent starting in October. And then you said you could now pay $200 a month rent, and $350 of what you pay I will use towards paying back the car.
That's right.
So she wasn't paying back anything.
That's correct.
She was paying the same rent.
Absolutely.
It all sounds cuckoo to me. I'm just letting you know, and it sounds cuckoo to 10 million other people. But keep going. Okay, so everything was fine. She's paying the same rent. She's paying the same rent, and all you're doing is you're kicking in $350 a month.
Not out of my pocket. That's lost income.
It's out of... Mr. Meyerson.
It's what I do. Sorry.
Mr. Meyerson, you can argue with me from today till tomorrow, my friend. It sounds to a normal person cuckoo.
That's fine. It's fine.
Cuckoo.
Fine.
Okay, what kind of work do you do, Mr. Meyerson?
I'm a computer programmer.
Keep going.
Okay. So on June 26th, she came home. This was the first crosswords we had ever had. She came in. She was drunk. She went straight for the refrigerator.
Of what year?
That's 2015. She went to the refrigerator, grabbed a beer can, poked a hole in it, started sucking down the beer, and then threw it on the ground. Beer was spraying everywhere. Out of it was, she said, "You're always picking on me." I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I just said, "What's wrong?" She walks over to the garbage. She starts rummaging around, finds beer bottles, and starts throwing them at me. There's beer spraying everywhere. There's glass everywhere. Then she starts banging on the walls with the beer bottles. She's poking holes in the walls. I have pictures.
This is ridiculous.
And then I called the police.
What I would like to see first, Mr. Meyerson, is the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2,000.
You'd like to see the evidence?
Yes, I'd like to see the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2,000, and that was on May 20th.
This document right here, document D.
Thank you.
And I have a police report to back me up.
Well, the bail was $3,100. You put $2,000 in your credit, and $1,100 was due on the 29th.
That was from somebody else, though. I didn't pay the $1,100, just $2,000.
Who did?
I don't know.
Who did?
I did.
You paid the $1,100 that was due on the 29th?
Yes.
Okay, let me see the police report,
Here's the police
please.
report. Backs up what I said.
This is the June report of the incident where she was intoxicated.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So we have $2,000
No.
for bail? Go.
Okay, so...
No, I don't want to hear the whole story from the creation. I want to know why you didn't pay him back the $2,000 for bail.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent. So she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. That's some deal.
And later today,
you were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, "Are you an attorney or a paralegal?" And your response to her was, "I am an attorney." That is not true.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Randy Meyerson says former tenant Alexandra Kearns owes for bail money after she was arrested for drunk driving. He is also suing for car payments and damage to his home.
Okay, keep going.
He told me...
No, not he told you. Called him and told him you were being held.
I was being held.
So that you had one phone call.
Yes.
And you didn't call your mommy or your daddy.
No, I called
You called him.
No, ma'am.
Who did you call?
I called an attorney, and he three-wayed him.
And
$2,000. I let him know that I had a debit card at my house where I lived with Randy, and I specified for Randy to take the $2,000 out of my account to pay the bond.
Great. Okay. And instead of doing that,
he took it upon himself.
He paid himself.
And I was not involved in that phone call.
Just a second. Okay. So you owe him the $2,000. What you should have done, if you had the debit card and you had the money right in the bank, what you do is you get out of jail and give him back the $2,000.
Yes.
So why didn't you do that?
When I asked him when I need to get it, he said, hold off. You have a lot to deal with. Get it to me when you can.
Okay, now he wants it, $2,000. What else? What else, Mr. Meyerson?
I've got tons.
What? Just a second. You may have tons.
Bills?
I have
Bills?
no time.
You
have tons. I have no time. So far, she owes you $2,000 for her bail.
Car was impounded.
That would be your problem.
She was arrested for DWI.
I don't care. Did you see the way I just said to you at the beginning of this process? You don't know somebody, you buy a car in your name with the express intention of that person, that stranger, having possession of the car, and then the car that's in your name gets impounded. So what you have to do is you have to get it out of impound. That's your problem. Next time you'll be smarter. Next.
Toll fees, $636.
Toll fees
She
on
was
your
driving
car.
all...
You didn't take it back.
I tried. Police wouldn't help me. Police
Sorry.
would do nothing. It's a civil matter.
Sorry. Car's in your name. She was living with you. Got toll fees. Take the car. Take the keys. Call the police. Say, that's my car. I want my car. What's next, Mr. Meyerson?
Were after she left.
You should have
booted
taken
her out after she assaulted me.
Great.
She took the car because...
Just a bit. Report it stolen.
I tried. They said you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
They told me I could not.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman.
Then they're all stupid because I went to multiple police departments.
I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. Next.
Car payments I made between July of 2015 through now. I made payments of $3,100. She paid me a total of $1,450.
That would be your problem.
Then I've got nothing else to submit, Your Honor.
You made an arrangement.
I have nothing more to submit.
Great. You made an arrangement with her that she didn't have to pay anything on the car, $550 for rent, and you would take out the $350, leaving you with $200. That was your arrangement with her. Then you had a fight, and she was drunk and disorderly, and you threw her out of the house. And as well you should have. Well, then she couldn't pay you the $500. That's why I said in October of 2014, when she moved in, and 8 weeks later, you obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car, put it in your name, give her the ability to drive around in it, unfettered, and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent for free. So she actually paid the same rent, and she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. Really, that's some deal. Well, that's what happens when you act like a jerk. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are done.
Oh, he's excused. You may step out.
That woman trashed my vehicle. $8,000 worth of damage.
That's what I paid insurance for.
She's a piece of garbage is what she is.
I think he wanted to be with me, and he thought if he bought me these things and did these things that I would want to date him.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Sharp versus Lopez. Step forward.
LaTanya Sharp is suing Lucia Lopez for the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud.
Ms. Sharp, it is your claim that Ms. Lopez actually scammed you out of money. She claimed to be an attorney. You turned over a trust to her that you wanted redone. You found out she was not an attorney, and you want your money back. In addition, she has papers on the previous trust that you had that you wanted her to modify. First, do you have those papers?
No, ma'am.
Where are they?
They are in her possession. She refused to sign a certified letter. Can I have a certified letter stating
Well, if she didn't sign for it, then they wouldn't have given it to her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know, Miss Lopez, I thought maybe you just made a mistake, but you're a hustler.
I am not.
Oh, yes, you are, because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney.
There was a conversation prior to that.
Yeah. Show me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. LaTanya Sharp is suing Lucia Lopez for the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud.
Okay, if she refused to sign it, then you have to find out where they are.
I did contact the mail carrier, and they said that she kept possession of the letter, and it was a binder, and she just refused to sign
the document.
The document. She wrote refused.
Okay. How did you find her?
Yes, I met Miss Lopez through a closed Facebook group that is...
You met her online.
On Facebook. I met her online.
On Facebook.
In a Facebook group.
But you met her online on Facebook.
But anyway...
did she tell you what she did for a living?
I asked her what she did. She told me she did labor and HR matters. And then she also said, well, I also do wills and trusts.
And you said?
I said, oh, I'm actually looking to redo my living trust. And I asked her, was she an attorney or a paralegal? She told me she was an attorney. And I asked her how much it was going to be, but she said that she needed to...
And this was all done...
In a message.
In a message?
Yeah, on Facebook.
I'd like to see that.
Yes.
I specifically want to see the part where she says, I'm an attorney.
Okay.
Well, you clearly stated to her in this exchange that you were an attorney. You want to show me something that's different from this?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see it. Just show her this, please. Now, you clearly told her you were an attorney. This ad also says attorney at law, Lucy Lopez. That's you. It's the same person. Are you, in fact, a licensed attorney?
I'm not a licensed attorney, and that email that I provided shows a thread that the founder of that Facebook group created. That advertising.
I don't care. You were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, are you an attorney or a paralegal? And your response to her was, I am an attorney.
Ma'am, I also stated that Fred was the attorney, and I gave her the contact information right below.
Oh, she said, I need a civil attorney. You told her you were an attorney. That is not true.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You know, Miss Lopez, I thought maybe you just made a mistake, but you're a hustler.
I am not.
Oh, yes, you are, because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney. And what she said in the line immediately preceding that is, I have a civil case and I need a civil attorney, because she asked you what you did and you told her, can you refer me to one? And I will certainly keep civil attorney. She referred you to a Fred.
There was a conversation prior to that.
Yeah. Show me.
It was a it was a phone
Whatever money you
conversation.
took from her, you took under fraudulent pretenses that you're an attorney. You owe her. How much money did you send her?
$200 as a deposit. However, what I'm suing for...
I don't care what you're suing for. I want to know how much you sent her.
$200.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I clearly stated that I was not an attorney.
Ms. Lopez, she is a scammer.
She sued me for $6,000 when she gave me $200.
She represents herself as an attorney.
It is what it is.
She's just a very colorful person that thinks she's something that she really isn't.
A major complication
You each have a child who has the same father.
Yes.
leads to a violent confrontation.
I say, Azuri, why are you at my house at 1 in the morning? She's like, I need to speak to Gary. She's extremely intoxicated. So then she reaches under Gary and grabs my hair and pulls me into the hallway. And then that's when we start to fight.
There are pictures here of a broken windshield.
Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Judge Judy. Enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Johnson is suing the mother of her boyfriend's child, 24-year-old Azuri Page, for assault and vandalism to her car.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 132 on the calendar in the matter of Johnson versus Page.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Johnson, you and Miss Page are connected because you each have a child who has the same father.
Yes.
Would that be you?
Yes.
Okay. And it is your claim that the defendant came to the house. You live together?
No. Well, as of now, yes.
As of?
Back when the case happened, yeah, we did live together.
And while you were living together, it is your claim that the defendant came over one evening, assaulted you, and vandalized your car.
Yes.
The defendant denies she was even in town on the night that she's alleging that this happened. And she has a counterclaim. She says that you've been harassing her. She believes that you somehow vandalized her car with some foreign object in her gas tank. She's got a counterclaim. Okay, when did this incident happen?
On May 5th.
Of this year?
Yes.
What time?
It was about 12:30. Okay, Your Honor, on the night of May 5th, me and Gary were celebrating Cinco de Mayo. We had some margaritas and tacos, and then we were going to call it a night around 12:30. Gary goes to bed, and his phone just starts to ring right before I lay down. And it's an unknown call constantly coming in. So eventually I answer, and it was a...
How many times did it ring?
Probably about 5 missed calls.
Okay.
And so finally I pick up, and it's Zuri on the other line, and she's like, where's Gary? And I said...
Now, do you know her? Had you met her before?
Yes.
How many times?
We've known each other for over 3 years.
So you knew her voice, or she identified herself?
Exactly, yes.
What did she say?
She said, where is Gary? I said, he's asleep. She said, he's been at my house for 3 nights. And I said, well, that's impossible because he's been home. So she's like, well, where is he? I said, he's asleep. She said, wake him up. So then I wake Gary up, and I hand Gary the phone, and he's like, this is a joke, just hang up. So right before I hang up, she says, open the door. Right before we opened the door, it was a knock maybe 5 seconds later. So Gary runs to the door and looks in the peephole, and he can't make out who it is. She's like leaning on the door. So then I look in the peephole, and I said, Gary, this is a Zuri. And Gary's like, is it? So he looks back in the peephole, and then I yell, we didn't open the door yet. I say, Zuri, why are you at my house at 1 in the morning? She's like, I need to speak to Gary. I said, okay, I called the police. And I said, I need a police officer dispatched to my location. So Gary goes and opens the door, and she's like, she's extremely intoxicated. She's like, I need you to come to my truck. And Gary says, why? I'm standing behind Gary. Gary has his hands on the side of the door. I'm standing behind him, and she's like, well, I need to speak to you. I need you to come to my truck. So then Gary's like, well, what do you need? Then she calls me a drunk and just starts like talking crazy and calling me names and says I'm scary. And then we started arguing. I'm still in the back of Gary. So then she reaches under Gary and grabs my hair and pulls me into the hallway. And then that's when we start to fight. I have pictures of bruises, scratches, and everything from that night.
I'd like to see them, please. I'd also like, did the police ever respond?
Yes, they did.
I'd like to see the police report.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's also pictures in there of the broken window as well.
Well, I see the window. We haven't gotten to the window yet.
Okay.
Now, there are pictures here of a broken windshield.
Yes.
And the police report is clear that after the police came to discuss what happened to you, you were sort of reluctant, a little intoxicated yourself.
Yes.
A sergeant also responded to the location, and it was the sergeant who observed the broken windshield on the car, and they identified the car as belonging to you.
Yes.
They went back upstairs to speak to you. At that time, since you believed she had broken your windshield, then you said, well, that's enough. I want to press charges. So that's how we're here.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I get from reading this report. Okay. What time had you parked your car that evening?
I would say about 6 p.m.
Now, you told me before that you and Gary were living together at the time.
Yes.
That's not what it says in here.
Yeah, Gary was living with me on and off around that time.
Well, now it is. So Gary was living with you on and off.
Yes.
Lisa, that would be you, right?
Yes.
Lisa said that Gary, her child's father, was only there to watch their child. Lisa and Gary were no longer in a dating relationship, nor was blank and blank. I assume her and somebody else said that even though that they had problems in the past, they had not seen or spoken to one another in quite some time. Lisa claimed to have no idea why the defendant and her friend arrived at the door. Now, you didn't tell me about a friend.
I was getting to that part. So after the right after we started fighting, Gary, I guess it was someone she was riding with in the truck, she runs in and pulls me back. Gary pulls Azuri back, and they stop the fight. Azuri then snatches away from Gary and runs out the front door into the back of the parking lot. Her friend then leaves out the back door to the parking lot where they were parked at. I went back in the house right after, and that's when I would say maybe literally 2 minutes later the police showed up. The police asked me what was going on, and I told them that it was an
I got what you wrote,
okay.
What you said to them. I read the report. Okay, Miss Page. Ball's in your court.
Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Okay.
I was out of town that week at my mom's. Okay. I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I have not spoken to Gary, to her. I do not associate myself with them whatsoever. And this has been going on for 3 years. Ms. Johnson has followed me to 3 different jobs.
No. We're talking about
came out of
something, Ms.
nowhere.
Page, entirely different, following you 3 jobs. If your testimony is, I was out of town at my mother's house, then you have nothing to add to your testimony. Then I have to make a decision as to whether or not I believe her or believe you. Do you have any witnesses to testify that you were out of town that evening?
Yes, my fiance dropped me off to my mom's.
What happened that night?
Yes.
You have Gary.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't actually have to hear either one of them. I just have to make a judgment as to whether Miss Johnson caused little marks on her face and whether Miss Johnson took a rock or something and busted out the windshield of her own car that night and then decided to blame it on you. I have to decide whether that happened. I don't think that happened. So I'm quite sure that your fiancé would say that he dropped you off at your mother's house, and I'm quite sure that Gary would say you came to the house and there was a fight. So, do you have an estimate for the windshield?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have it fixed?
No, ma'am. It's still not fixed.
Where is it?
It's at home. I've been riding with it with plastic on my window, which is, yeah, it's really hard because I have to have my son sit in that back seat.
Okay, that's $330. Now, I assume that you did not seek any sort of medical treatment that night?
No, ma'am. It was just scratches and bruises.
Well, I see the photographs, and it does look like there was quite a fight.
Yeah.
Precipitated by your arriving that night, either drunk or sober.
I was not there.
How old is your child with Gary?
Mine, she's 3.
And yours?
2.
Does Gary see your daughter often?
No, he's not allowed to. He was court-ordered not to be left alone with any children. He was found unfit.
By what court?
Champaign County.
Is that correct?
That's what she say.
What does that mean?
I'm saying that's what she say. If she don't got no paperwork saying I can't be around my kids.
Are you around your son?
Yep, every day.
Well, and evidently it doesn't apply to that child.
I have no idea.
When was the last time he saw his daughter?
I actually have no idea. The only time he is allowed to see her is when my daughter is at his stepmom's house, and then he sees her over there when he goes.
So your daughter does go to his family's house?
His stepmom's, yes.
How often?
Maybe once every other week, and she'll probably keep her for a couple of days to spend time with her.
And so he is permitted to see her there?
Yes, he has to be supervised.
Okay, so he's not permitted around other children. He has supervised visitation with his daughter for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. All kinds of reasons, both valid and stupid, for making those kinds of orders. I'm thoroughly familiar with both the valid ones and the stupid ones, and that has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about judges making orders for good reason and orders for stupid reasons. It seems to me if you're not capable of having unsupervised visitation with a 3-year-old, you shouldn't be capable. So clearly this had more to do with you than with a child, to me, in my head, but that's only me in my head. Anyway, you owe her $1,500. You owe her $300 to fix her car, and the rest is for coming to the house in the middle of the night and picking a fight and assaulting her.
That was not me, Your Honor.
We are done here. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Why does I excuse you and they step out?
Stop going to people's houses trying to fight them.
It is so crazy because I didn't do it. I wasn't even there.
Stop getting extremely intoxicated and not know what's going on.
She has no proof, no evidence.
You know, just move on with your life.
It's ridiculous.
Gary? Maybe she wants Gary back.
I don't know what's about. I don't talk to him. He doesn't have my phone number.
Guess it is. I just got it.
Gary has so many girlfriends, it could have been any one of them.
You and Gary are done. Let it go.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Brooks. Step forward.
18-year-old Courtney Smith is suing her ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Brandon Brooks, for the return of a car, an unpaid loan, and unpaid rent and utilities.
How old are you, Miss Smith?
I'm 18, Your Honor.
And you, Mr. Brooks?
19.
It is your claim that the defendant, who used to be your boyfriend, is not your boyfriend anymore, despite the fact that you are currently, according to what you wrote here, pregnant, now back living with your parents, I assume.
That's correct.
You started to live together.
17, Your Honor.
Where were you living?
At his grandmother's house.
With your mother's permission?
No.
So you left home?
Yes, he convinced me to run
Don't tell me what he convinced you. Don't tell me what he convinced you. He didn't convince any 17-year-old girl anything if she didn't want to go. He doesn't look like any Svengali to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have the same text messages about the money for the other car?
I don't have text messages, but I do have proof that the car is now legally registered in my name, and his name is no longer on the title.
Oh, how did you do that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Courtney Smith says ex-boyfriend Brandon Brooks owes for a car, a loan, and rent and bills.
So you went to live at his grandmother's house with him, and then?
His grandmother kicked us out, and...
His grandmother kicked you out?
Yes.
What's the reason for that, Mr. Brooks?
We didn't get along after a while.
Who didn't get along?
Me, my grandma, we were just always constantly fighting.
Okay, so after you left your grandmother, where did you go?
We got a place with a couple friend of ours, and we were renting a room from them. And that
so
is...
a couple had an apartment and they let you rent a room. Now, what were you doing to support yourself during this time?
I was currently working at Bed Bath & Beyond at the time, so I was working at least 25 hours a week, and I was able to support myself.
So you were working part-time at Bed Bath & Beyond. Were you going to school?
Yes, I was.
And what were you doing?
I was selling cars on the side.
How many cars did you sell on the side?
When we were together, maybe about 8 or 9.
Did you make any money?
Yes.
Okay. This case has two parts. One, you claim that you made a loan to Mr. Brooks.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me when you made the loan and how much.
I made the loan in about October, the end of October, for an Audi for $700.
And just a minute. End of October of 2015, you gave him $700.
Yes.
Where did you get the $700 from?
I had received $1,300 for graduating high school in cash, so I had it in cash at the time.
Just a second. $1,300 from whom?
From family, my grandmother, my parents, aunts, uncles.
So they, all together, they gave you $1,300?
Yes.
And you gave $700 of that to Mr. Brooks to buy a car?
Yes.
How much was the car?
That was not true. It ended up like that. We didn't buy the Audi first. That was like the 5th car we bought.
Okay.
We bought a Subaru for the very first time, and it was only $300.
I'm talking about the $700 she said she gave you. Did she give you $700?
No.
Did you buy an Audi?
Yes, we did.
When you say we, how much did you...
Person off Craigslist.
Did you pick up the car?
The Audi? Yes.
Okay. Where did you get the $500 from?
From a recent car we sold.
So you would flip cars?
Yes.
How much was the rent in the room?
The rent was, we paid half, it was $400.
Did you pay any of the rent?
Yes.
From flipping cars?
Yes.
Did you also go to school?
I did not at the time.
No, so you didn't graduate from high school?
No.
So you were just flipping cars? Mm-hmm. And you certainly weren't paying the $400 a month rent and putting away a lot of money working 25 hours a week at Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay. Now, do you have any proof that you gave him this money, whether it be $500 or $700? Do you have any proof of that?
I have acknowledgments through text message and through Facebook of him saying that he knows he owes me the $700.
Fine. I'd like to see it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a title that says it's yours?
Yes.
And you have a title that says it's yours, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go bang your heads against the wall, because motor vehicles will figure out very, very quickly that you got the title by committing perjury when you filled out forms.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Courtney Smith says ex-boyfriend own and rent and bills.
Okay, so it's clear based upon this that this was the disagreement. She gave you $700 to buy the Audi, and you were together at the time. And the idea was you would sell the Audi, as you had been doing, flipping the cars, and what she wanted was she wanted her money back, the $700, and half the profit that you got from selling the Audi. That was what you were arguing with him about. Yeah. So you mean if you sell the Audi for $2,000, I only get $700. That's not fair. I also want half the profit. That's what you were complaining about. But what you said to her twice was, you'll get back your $700, the rest is going to my grandpa. Got it? Mm-hmm. $700. Now, the other part of your lawsuit has to do with a car that you say was purchased for you.
That's correct.
With whose money?
My money, Your Honor.
What car and for what amount of money?
The car would be the 2004 Hyundai Elantra that he found, and I purchased it. I paid for the smog and the registration as well.
No, smog and registration. I actually got that you paid for smog and registration. The car is registered in his name. Let's be very clear. I want you to tell me who paid for that car.
I paid for the car, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
No.
I didn't think so. How much was the car?
In October.
In whose name is the car?
Mine.
Was it your intention to fix up that car for her to drive?
It was for both of us to drive.
Do you have any proof that you paid for that car?
I have a bank statement showing a withdrawal for $320.
Not
around
interested.
The time.
Not interested.
Okay.
Not interested in a bank withdrawal that I don't know what it's for. You have any other proof? You had certainly text messages from him with regard to the $700 that you claim, and this is after the relationship is terminated. You say, this is what you wrote to him. When am I going to get my $700? So where do you have the same text messages about the money for the other car?
I don't have text messages, but I do have proof that the car is now legally registered in my name, and his name is no longer on the title.
Oh, how did you do that?
Because when we had the car, he reported it stolen. Neither one of us were legally registered owners of the vehicle.
Oh, then I don't have to deal with it. Listen to me, then I don't have to deal with it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you are the registered owner of the vehicle, you're the registered owner of the vehicle, and you get your $700 anticipated getting, in which he guaranteed you in these emails that you were going to get. But if you're the registered owner of the car, good for you.
Well, the $700 and the Hyundai are two different cars.
I understand that. But whatever you did in order to get the Hyundai, which is what you wanted, has nothing to do with me. So if you each have a title that says it's yours, you have a title that says it's yours,
yes.
And you have a title that says it's yours, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go bang your heads against the wall. Go bang your heads against the wall, because motor vehicles will figure out very, very quickly that you got the title by committing perjury when you filled out forms. They'll figure that out in a minute. I don't have to get involved with it. All I have to do is say, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're done.
Oh, he's excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I ended it because there was too much fighting.
Child may not be his.
We went to court once trying to say the kid isn't mine.
I'm saying it to be truthful.
But I have over 40 different messages from different people saying it's mine.
It's all going to be done through family court. I have to see him again in my life.
She wanted $2,500, and I said, Rebecca, that is ridiculous. What are you talking about?
When cousin rents to cousin.
She told you that she wanted you out in April?
It's all false. It's all false. It's all lies.
Family values go out the window.
Your Honor, I never got any rent. She's a liar. She's a thief.
Do you take any medication?
No, I don't.
Try to control yourself.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Rebecca Wasson is suing her cousin, Lisa Mitros, for unpaid rent, hotel fees, and loss of rental income.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. Yeah, it's case number 123 on the calendar in the matter of Wasson versus Mitros.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Mitros, I'm going to start with you. Miss Wasson is your cousin, and you have a family. Tell me, you have a husband?
My husband passed away, Miss.
You have children?
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with? Female friend?
Male.
How long have you lived with this male friend?
4 years.
In your house?
His house.
Now, his house had a problem.
The house burnt down, Your Honor.
To the ground?
25% of the house was damaged.
Well, then it didn't burn down to the ground. 25% was damaged. And when did that happen?
That happened a week before Thanksgiving.
So mid-November?
A year ago.
2015. And the house was rendered at that point not livable. Couldn't live in the house while they were repairing it. I assume he was going to have it repaired. Is that correct? And your cousin, Miss Wasson, has a summer home that she rents in the summertime. Have you ever rented her summer home?
I rented her home in the rear, yes, I did, but not for summer yearly rental when I was married.
The rear. And she offered you, because you were in a state of an emergency, to move on to that property, to the rear house or to the main house?
To the main house.
And you're renting the main house with your boyfriend?
Correct.
And you were paying her $1,000 a month rent?
That's correct.
And the idea was that this was an interim thing until the house was renovated from the fire. Correct. So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it came about that it was coming towards the summer in April, and your house was supposed to be finished by April. Your boyfriend's house was supposed to be finished.
Sometime by the summer. There was no date. There was no time when it was going to be done. You can't have a time.
Yes, you can.
It's inspection.
Of course you have a time. Contractor goes in, built houses, renovated rooms. They say this renovation is going to take 6 months. This renovation is going to take 8 months. So they started to do your renovation, I assume, in November or December.
They didn't start for quite a while, but...
They were delayed.
Right, winter.
Well, they were delayed. Well, at some point, Miss Wasson said, listen, I have to start renting the house. I get $2,500 for the house. I read the complaint. I get $2,500 for the house for the summer. I rely on that for income. So the two of you got into it. You said, my house isn't ready, and I'm not ready to move out. And that was in April of 2016. So far, is that accurate? She told you that she wanted you out in April?
It's all false. It's all lies.
She never told you she wanted you either out or
Absolutely not. We discussed this in April. She said, no problem. It's not done. You can stay. You pay me the rent, you stay. But you have to be out by the end of May.
Okay.
And that's what transpired.
Okay.
That's not true.
Shh, just a second. In April, did you pay her rent?
Yes, I did.
How much?
$1,000.
Show me. That's why I have Bird. I want to see April and May's rent. And what date did you leave in June?
May,
June.
I didn't leave June. I left May 28th. It was my last day in that house.
Well, I have a check here for April, but I don't have one for May.
Yeah, you do.
No, this is not a check for May. This is a check for $1,500.
Yeah,
May
which
11th.
we paid her for May. Because she wanted $2,500. And I said, Rebecca, that is ridiculous. You do not rent this front house. You stay in it in the summertime. What are you talking about? And the rents don't start till June.
Your Honor, I never got any rent for...
She's a liar. She's a thief.
Just a second. Who is Joseph?
That's my boyfriend, who pays the rent. And again, Your Honor, she is not even the homeowner.
Listen.
She is not the homeowner. Check her stuff. She is nothing to that house. The owner of that home is Edgar. She is not married to him. She is Rebecca Wasson. She's on that deed as Rebecca. There's no such person.
Hey, now I want you to uncross your arms and listen to me carefully. This crap that you gave me is not evidence. You have a check made out to cash. You have a check made out to cash that was cashed by your boyfriend.
Exactly.
You can make a check payable to cash, and she can cash it. You have a check made out to cash that's payable to your boyfriend. This check doesn't show who cashed it.
She wanted cash. Okay. And that's why she wanted cash.
Now, my question to you is, Miss Wasson.
Yes.
I got it. Listen to me. She moved in November or December?
She moved in November.
Okay. Did she pay you rent in November?
Yes, she did.
Did she pay you rent in December?
Yes, she did.
January?
Yes.
February?
Yes.
March?
No.
That's not true, Your Honor.
That's not what you actually say here.
Thank you.
If you say anything again, I'm going to give her exactly what she wants and throw you out. Do you understand?
November, December, January, February, March.
March. She stopped paying you in April.
April, yes.
That's according to you. It's according to your complaint.
Yes.
Now, when did you move to evict her?
I moved to evict her the middle of March. Wasn't it the middle of March?
March 1st.
I sent her a letter.
I have it right here.
I sent her a letter that she was supposed to be out by April.
May I see the letter, please?
Yes.
You have a copy of the letter. It's your letter.
Your Honor, I was never sent the letter.
I'm not asking you any questions now. I started with you.
Yeah, can you help me?
She's looking for.
She's my property.
For the notice to quit.
Yeah.
I just want to see a copy of the letter that you sent her telling her you wanted her
I actually
and her boyfriend out. You were giving them a 30-day notice.
Sorry, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay. So what you sent her was a letter saying that the police had been called 4 times to the property by the people who rented the rear house.
Yes.
Complaining about what was going on in their house.
Yes.
Disorderly conduct.
Yes.
Okay? The other part of it, I'm not interested that you had to stay at a hotel. I wouldn't know why you would want to stay with them to begin with if all this is going on in the house. I wouldn't know why you would want to do that anyway. When did you serve them with a notice to leave? Because you didn't. This is a notice that says to them, you have to stop bad behavior. And if you don't stop bad behavior, you have to leave the premises. Well, then there has to be a follow-up eviction. Now, you started an eviction process when?
I started the eviction process in probably, let's see, I realized she wasn't going to move out, so I started it in May.
May 5th.
And I was afraid, May 5th, 2016.
May I see that, please? On what date do you claim they moved out?
The constable sent me a letter and said that I couldn't go back into the house until June 9th.
May I see that, please?
Yes.
Did you, in fact, go in on the 1st of June?
No, I didn't go in until June 9th.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor. There was one thing I wanted to say. Excuse me. The one, when we did the eviction, you can do an eviction for 1 or 2 reasons.
What's your last name?
Francine Simon.
She is a nobody. She has nothing to do with this case. She was not there. She was not witness.
I don't want to hear you. Are you an alcoholic?
No, I'm not.
Are you a drug abuser?
No,
Are you
I'm
a drug
not.
abuser?
No,
Do you
I'm
take
not.
any medication?
No, I don't.
Then what I'm going to suggest is try to control yourself.
I own McNeely Property Management, and I am her property manager for the last 4 or 5 years. I was unaware that she allowed her cousin to move in with her because she occupied the house. But then when everything unraveled, she had a choice. She could sue her for, do an eviction for non-payment of rent or an eviction for a notice case, which is what we did. And the reason we did that was because the tenant in the back was complaining of all these things that were going on.
Thank you very much.
What I'm telling you is that's why we did the notice case instead of a notice to quit because of non-payment of rent. You can't...
I understand. Listen to me. I've been doing this now for 20 years. They had paid their rent. You couldn't sue them, evict them for non-payment of rent because they paid their rent through March. They did not pay April and May. According to my satisfaction, there's no proof that they paid April and May's rent to my satisfaction. And in April and May, the rent was $1,000.
No, April and May, they were not supposed to be there.
I understand. April. Did you get renters, by the way?
No.
Did they come into the main house? Do you now have renters there?
I don't have renters there, either in the cottage or the front house.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's what you're owed for April and May. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm very upset because I lost over $6,000 on trying to be kind.
Oh, my God, what a joke.
To my cousin and letting her stay in my house.
I can't believe people lie like they do.
And all she did was totally rip me off.
And this is her reputation.
She totally took advantage of me.
Good riddance.
I'm never going to talk to her again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Doms versus Fudge. Step forward.
24-year-old Marquivas Fudge for unpaid bills, damaged and stolen property, and the cost to change their locks.
Ms. Doms, the defendant was your roommate for a relatively short period of time, despite the fact that he had signed a 1-year lease. And you wanted him out of the apartment because it is your claim that you weren't getting along and that he stole things from you, that you were forced to change the locks on the house, and you want him to be responsible to the tune of $3,441. Let's deal with the easy things first.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He took the gift boxes. The makeup was floating in dirty trash water. I have photos to prove that.
You have no photos that involve him.
You think he would take the package and pose for me for a photo to show me him stealing it?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Annalise Doms says former roommate Marquivas Fudge owes for bills, damaged and stolen property, and lock-changing fees.
When he left, he returned the keys to you.
Nope.
Is that true?
I did not return them to her. I returned them to the landlord, Fred.
Okay, so the landlord had the keys.
Yes, he does.
Well, the landlord called me on December 30th.
You can't tell me what the landlord said to you.
Well, they called to say that Mark had evacuated, and I came back to my place after Christmas, after being at my mom's, and his stuff was still in the living room. So I didn't know what to do with his stuff, and I was going to hold it ransom for the bill money he owed me. But he let himself in on the January 2nd with the key. He let himself in. I was changing the locks on the 2nd. The locksmith was supposed to be there at 9 a.m.
How could you change the locks? He had a year lease.
Because he stole from me and I didn't feel safe. He threatened me on Facebook. He threatened me in text messages and I didn't feel safe and I had to get him out.
Well, there are procedures for that.
Yes,
madam.
I tried to evict him. I had my lawyer write a letter to my landlord to try to evict him because he violated the lease by storing urine in his room. So that letter got me nowhere because my landlord said, you know, if they both want to be evicted, I'll evict them both, but I'm not going to evict him over him storing urine in his room.
So there's some story. Now, all right, let's get to, you have no proof that he did not return the keys. And the reason you changed the locks was not because he didn't return the keys, because you would have changed the locks anyway.
Not under a normal circumstance. If a roommate moves out.
I'm talking about under this circumstance.
Under this circumstance, with someone threatening me and stealing from me, yes, I would change the locks.
Well, then he's not responsible for that.
But he threatened me. If I didn't change the locks, he could come back in.
Now let's get to stealing from you. What did he steal from you, when, and what proof do you have that he stole from you?
He kept taking money from my wallet. No.
Just a second. Did you ever see him take money from your wallet?
No. He just kept taking it.
That's not proof.
Well,
did you take money from her wallet?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay. So he says he didn't take it. You say he took it, but you have no proof that he took money from your wallet.
But I have the dates that I was missing the money, and I have the amount of money I was missing.
It doesn't matter.
And he stole money that cards, friends and family sent me. My mom sent me cards in the mail with money, and he took the cards and the money.
All I need is, other than you making a statement that he did it, I need proof that he did it.
I had cards on my mantle with birthday money in them. He took all that.
Did you ever see him take the cards with the
No,
birthday
he was pretty sneaky about it.
Okay, then we have no proof.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I called the cops because I knew he had it, and the cop, I can't tell you what the cop said because that's hearsay, but the cop believed he had it, and...
You can't say that either.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Annalise Dom says, former roommate Marquivas Fudge property and lock-changing fees.
Keep going.
Okay, well, let's see. December 5th, 2015, my witness, Dan, brought over a package of Dior makeup for me that cost $152, and we put it on the coffee table. We went out to see a movie, and in that time period, Mark Kevius came home, and when we got home, the Dior package was gone. And we asked him, where is it? And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. Someone must have come in the back and taken the package and scaled the wall, and he would want to take something light, he said. And so I called the cops because I knew he had it. And the cop, I can't tell you what the cop said because that's hearsay.
You're correct.
But the cop believed he had it, and...
You can't say that either.
Okay.
Do you understand? You can't say that either.
Okay,
I'm certain if you called the police on that day, did they search his room?
They did not.
Okay.
I guess they didn't have a warrant.
No, don't tell me what you guess. Did they ask to search his room?
I'm not sure because
You don't know that either. Okay. What's next?
Well, we found the Dior package destroyed in the trash. He put it in my back trash.
Just a second.
And it stayed there for months because we got a big snowstorm and they weren't taking out the trash, so he put it under lots of trash.
What you are doing is speculating. You found the Dior bag in the back of your house in the trash?
And he took the gift box.
I don't care. You have to connect the dots. You have to say, the trash where I found the items that were stolen were under his control. If I didn't see him, they were under his control. You have no connection to any theft. I mean, I read your papers. It didn't appear that you had any connection to any theft. It may well have been that the defendant stole property from you. It may well have been that he stole money. It may have been that this lady who's sitting in the front row did the same thing. It's all possible. But in a court, you have to have proof. You can't just come in and say, he took money out of my wallet and he stole birthday money out of cards. And I found a bag.
The Dior package was unwrapped. He took the gift boxes. The makeup was floating in dirty trash water. I have photos to prove that.
You have no photos that involve him. What do you have that involves Him.
Do you think he would take the package and pose for me for a photo to show me him stealing it?
You need proof that someone is a thief, which is why they didn't arrest him, and which I can't, for the same reason, I can't find him guilty of theft.
I have the police reports.
Well, that I'll read.
The first two are incorrect. The last...
No, don't tell me any. Don't tell me. The police report speaks for itself. So if you're introducing it, it's coming in as a business record.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
Scientifically proven to improve joint comfort. Effective at a cellular level. Cosamin. For joint health, it's time to start believing again.
Attention railroad workers, if you've been diagnosed with cancer, it may be linked to your job and you may be entitled to compensation. We can help you. Call 1-800-LAW-HELP now.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I've read the police reports. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in them.
Anything
Anything else?
They incorrectly stated that I called because I was missing $20 from my wallet. I was missing $20 from my wallet many times living with Markevius, but I didn't call about that.
Okay, you have no case against him for stealing your property. Neither the police nor I find any evidence that you have.
He stole my computer?
We're moving on. Go.
I have
Next.
the receipts from the computer that was
Next.
purchased.
I don't care what you have receipts for unless you have proof that he took it.
I came back from my mom's from Christmas, and it was not where it used to be, in between the two bookcases where I kept it. He took it to sell for parts.
It's very possible. You have any proof of that? We're done. Case is dismissed. We're over.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A mechanic-client relationship in need of repair.
He never fixed it and he has a title, so what can I do with a car with no title?
Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did. Glad you kept on talking.
Judge Judy.
A month after he moved in, he gave us bed bugs, and he didn't pay his part of the bed bug fee.
It wasn't my fault. The bed bugs were in the couch that she slept in all the time.
He's a thief. He's a dirty thief. He never showered. He stored urine in his room.
I'm a very lazy person, so.
He's disgusting. He's deplorable.
Bottles is right there because I just finished using them, so why not?
He's a disgusting individual. I would never, ever want to see him again.
She's just saying all these things because she's trying to get money out of me.
He's a good liar, and he's a really good, he can be really charming when he wants to be.
She's just being crazy.
Watch out for Markevius Tyree Fudge.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad to be out of there. My mom's glad I'm out of there. Everybody's like, oh, my God, this lady is crazy. We're happy you're out of there.
You bought a car with no title. Why?
Because he said he could get the title in my name for me.
A mechanic-client relationship in need of repair.
He never fixed it and he has a title, so what can I do with a car with no title? Text message telling him I'm on my way to get the car. I have the money and everything. He's avoided me for months.
Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did. Glad you kept on talking.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jamaica Miller is suing her former friend, DeAndre Walton, for the value of a car and the return of money she paid him to fix it.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 142 on the calendar in the matter of Miller versus Walton.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Miller, it is your claim that Mr. Walton owes you some money for a car that he was supposed to fix. The case is a little bit fuzzy, so I'm going to try to recreate in my own mind what you're complaining about. Mr. Walton has a silly counterclaim that I'm going to deal with in due course. You have a son.
Yes.
Teenage son.
Yes.
How old?
17.
Some time ago, you bought him a car.
Yes.
That was not running.
Yes.
So how long ago did you buy him this non-running automobile? On what date?
I want to say around October the 17th.
Who did you buy the car? Year car?
A 1999.
1999 what?
Oldsmobile Integra.
And it was listed as a non-running car?
Yes.
So if you paid more than a couple of $100s for this, you'd be crazy, right?
Right.
How much did you pay her for it?
I paid her $500 for it.
Okay, so you gave her $500. She gave you the car, and you towed the car.
Well, I didn't actually tow the car. I have a guy who tows for me.
Okay. And that was in October?
No, it was 11/18/2015.
November 18th?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that sound familiar? Not October, November?
Yes.
So your son's birthday had passed?
Yes.
By the time he towed it?
Yes.
Where were you living in October and November of 2015? In what city and state?
St. Peters, Missouri.
And when did you move from St. Peters, Missouri?
February 28th of 2016.
And where did you move to?
Houston, Texas.
Did your son move with you?
Yes.
So that you left in February without the car?
Yes.
Now, at some point, Mr. Walton says he got fed up with storing this car that he got running, and he drove the car. Did you drive it or tow it?
We towed the car.
To?
To her father's house at the...
Now, why did you tow the car?
Because it had no plates on it. It had no legal way that I could drive the car.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Why?
DeAndre had my title.
Why?
Because when I first bought the car from Kiara, the car lot that she bought the car from was out of business, so she didn't have any paperwork besides that title. And when we went to the DMV, they said she needed paperwork, like a bill of sale or something. I don't know. But I explained to DeAndre what was going on. I was telling him I may just give her the car back because it seemed like it's going to be hard to title.
So now you had a car with no title.
I have a title. I just don't have
How did you get a title?
She had the title, but not the paperwork that I guess the car dealer give you. I don't know, like a bill of sale or something. I'm not sure.
Where's the title now?
I gave it to DeAndre.
Why is my question.
Because he said he can get the title in my name for me.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. But it wasn't going to be in her name. It would have been in my shop name, which the title would have came back in my shop name. Because what I did was I actually did a mechanic lien and put a mechanic lien on the title to get a clean title to the car. The car wasn't registered to a Kiara. It was registered to Richard.
I knew this case was fuzzy. I just knew the case was...
He was the last owner of the vehicle who registered the car.
So the person she gave $500 to was not the title holder of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you now have the title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
With a mechanic's lien. It's parked in front of her grandfather's house?
No, it's parked in the backyard of her father's house.
How much money, Mr. Walton, did Miss Miller give you to fix the car?
Altogether, she never paid me any money. She gave me $40 for the part that she needed to put the belt back on the car.
Other than the $40 she gave you, did she give you any other money?
The money to do the mechanic lien on the car.
What do you mean the money to do the mechanic's lien?
Like, it costs to do a mechanic lien on the vehicle, so she paid me the amount of money that I needed to do the mechanic lien for the car.
I gave him $150 for the titling of the car.
So other than the $40 and $150 for the mechanic's lien, you got no money from Miss Miller?
No, ma'am.
You have any proof that you gave him any money, Miss Miller? Do you have any proof that you
I gave him the $190 altogether?
I don't care about the $190.
Oh, no, I didn't pay after the car was dropped off, no.
Well,
I only pay him the $190, the $150 for the title and the $40 for the part for the car. DeAndre never fixed the car.
Just a second. So, it's at your father's house. Bring it to somebody else.
He never fixed it and he has a title, so what can I do with a car with no title?
You had a car with no title. You bought a car with no title.
I had a title to the car.
No, you didn't buy the car from anybody who had the right to sell it to you. The title was in some...
It was signed over to Keandre.
Listen, you want the car?
Yes,
Call your father and go get it. Do you get along with your father?
Yes, I get along with my father, but he dropped off the car. There's nothing I can do with a car with no title.
Just a second. Your mechanic's lien is for how much money?
You mean, what do you mean? I mean...
Well, a mechanic's lien indicates that you've done work on the car, and she did not pay you for the car, and therefore you put a mechanic's lien on the car, unless this was some sort of a scam between the two of you to get a clean title.
No, it wasn't a scam between neither one of us to get.
Well, then why would you put a mechanic's lien on it before you do any work on it?
Because that's the only way I'll be able to apply and get a title for the car.
That's what I said. Just a second. That's a scam. That's a scam. If the only way that you could get a clean title for the car is to put a mechanic's lien on the car, and you were doing her a favor to put a mechanic's lien on the car.
But he never said he was putting a mechanic lien. He said that he was titling it.
That's a scam. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So the car is in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, do you have the title?
I have it, but I don't have it with me.
Well, you have to turn that over to her.
He don't have the title. I've been trying to get the title for months from him.
It took 2 months for the title to come back clean because it was an Illinois title, not a Missouri title. But
fine, you have to get the title and give it
But
to her
I
and
have,
sign it
I
over
have
to
him saying that he had the title and he wouldn't give it to me.
Listen, he's not giving you $1,200.
He didn't fix my car.
Understand something. He's not giving you $1,200.
Well, he give me the title and the car back. That's fine, too.
Listen to me, Miss Miller. He's not bringing the car to Houston. The car is in your father's backyard. I'm directing that he turn the title over to you. He did no other work on the car.
But he doesn't have the title, Miss Judy.
I do have the title, Miss Judy.
Why didn't he give me the title then? Because I had the money. I have text messages telling him I'm on my way to get the car. I have the money and everything. He's avoided me for months.
Just a second. Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am.
How much work did you put? I'm glad you kept on talking.
Yes, ma'am.
How much work did you put in the car?
I put the new pulley that she paid for on the car. We put the belt on the car. Where the alternator sits, it was screws that were missing. That's why the belt kept popping off along with the pulley being broke.
You told her how much it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Now we're getting to it. So how much did you tell her it was to fix the car?
I told her I was going to charge her $200 to fix the car.
When did you tell him you were on your way over with the money?
I've told him 2 different times. I told him once on the 11th, January the 11th. I texted him a couple more times. Then I told him again on February the 17th is when I showed up at his shop, his mom's house, and everything because he wasn't there.
With how much money?
With $120, which is what he told me I owe, and I have that.
Well, you paid him $190.
He said my remaining balance is $120, and I had that.
So that the mechanic's lien on the car should be for $120. Is that right?
No, ma'am. The original agreement was for me doing the mechanic lien. It was $150 just for the mechanic lien. That had nothing to do with.
Just a minute. I'm not getting involved with the mechanic's lien. The mechanic's lien was a scam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The mechanic's lien was a scam to get a clean title.
He didn't say he was doing it.
Because otherwise, you don't put a mechanic's lien on the car. This was an agreement between the two of you because she couldn't register the car for some bizarre reason, and I don't even want to know why.
And later today.
When did you sell the car to Miss Edwards?
In the middle of February.
Why?
Because I was almost done. I had called.
If you tell the truth, you don't have to fumfa around and you won't look ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jamaica Miller says former friend DeAndre Walton owes he paid him to fix it. DeAndre is countersuing for storage fees and an unpaid bill.
Now, mechanic's lien was a scam to get a clean title. Because otherwise, you don't put a mechanic's lien on the car. You put a mechanic's lien on the car if you've done work and the person refuses to pay you. That was not the case. This was an agreement between the two of you because she couldn't register the car for some bizarre reason, and I don't even want to know why.
The title was filled up on the back.
What is what?
The title was signed in multiple places on the back of the title, so there was nowhere else for her to sign to even register the car.
Listen to me. I know that something isn't kosher, so that what I want you to do now is now you have a title to the car in your shop's name, a car that she purchased for $500.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? I don't care about the mechanic's lien. That's a scam thing that I'm not dealing with. Your cost to fix the car was $200.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you want the car back, you have to pay him $200. Do you want the car back?
But why do I owe?
With the title signed over to you. That way, you've paid $500 for the car. You've paid him for fixing the car.
Ma'am, he didn't fix the car at all.
Listen
the car
to me.
was sitting on bricks and everything when I went by him to fix the car.
If you pay him the $200 that he spent towing back and forth, and he says he fixed those items, and I believe him, because I don't believe you're telling me the whole story, then tell your father you're coming to get the car. Do you want to pay him the $200?
He didn't fix my car. I'm not paying him.
The answer is no, you don't. Is that right?
Yes, I don't want to pay him for a car he didn't fix.
Great. Well, now you're
what
living
about
not
the
in
$190
Missouri,
I
now
paid
you're living
him
in
and the
Texas.
$40?
This non-running vehicle that you paid $500 for is now in Missouri at your father's house. Maybe your father wants the car. He's going to get disgusted with the car in his backyard.
Okay, I'll pay the $200 for the title. That's fine.
Fine.
I just want the title.
She's going to pay you $200, and you're going to sign the title over to her.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I will prepare that order. She can take that order. As soon as you get the $200, she can take it to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Missouri.
He's been lying about that title forever. I don't think he ever had the title. He even claimed it on the insurance for his mechanical thing. He said that it was his.
That's my judgment. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I guess she mad because justice was served. I did the work. All I wanted was to get paid for what I fixed on the car. We're all good.
And now,
This is Campbell. Step forward.
20-year-old Shantia Edwards is suing her former friend, Jay Campbell, for the return of money she paid for a 2006 Chevy Impala.
Bird, while I'm asking these people some questions, would you look up the value of a 2006 Chevrolet Impala?
Got it.
Thank you. All right, Miss Edwards, this is your story. Story is that you bought a car from the defendant, and the agreement was you would pay him $2,200 for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did, in fact, pay $2,200 to him. At that time, he was the boyfriend of a cousin of yours, and what he said was, according to you, he said he had another one payment to make on the car, and after he had made that one payment, he would give you the title, because then it would be a clear title without a lien on it from the lending institution. So far, we understand each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that what he told you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you paid him $2,200 for this 2006 Chevy Impala, and a couple of weeks later, you walked out of your door, and lo and behold, the car had been repossessed because he hadn't been making the payments. He was payments behind, and he didn't have one payment to make. He had many payments, $200.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says that was not your agreement. The defendant says your agreement was that the $2,200 was $2,200 as a down payment, and then you would make the remainder of the payments on the car, and after you made all the payments on the car, you would get the title. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when did you purchase the car, Mr. Campbell?
I purchased the car in October of 2015.
And when did you sell the car to Miss Edwards?
In the middle of February.
February, so couple of months later.
Right.
Why?
Because I was almost done. I had called, well...
Just if you, listen to me. Mm-hmm. If you tell the truth, you don't have to fumfa around and you won't look ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He told me that he only had one more payment due on the car, and then...
Why, if he only had one more payment due on the car, would he not make that payment and sell the car for $6,000 instead of selling it to you for $2,000?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shantia Edwards says former friend Jay Campbell owes for the return of money she paid for a car.
Okay, go ahead.
We met at Subway because she needed a ride home, and then she was like, I need a car. And I was telling her, like, since I'm almost done paying my car, that I had a few payments left on the car.
What's a few?
I told her I had 4 payments left on the car.
Okay.
Not 1, I said 4.
Okay, so 4. Mm-hmm. How much did you pay for the car, by the way?
I put $1,500 down on the car.
You what?
Put $1,500 down.
I didn't ask you what you put on the car. I said, how much was the total purchase price?
I don't remember offhand.
Well, let's think about it. I want you to tell me what the purchase price of the car was. It was a couple of months before you sold it to the plaintiff. What was the purchase price of the car?
I believe like 10. I don't remember offhand.
I'll let you go figure it out, because I'm not going to sit here and play with you. If you remember, you told her that there were 4 payments left. You remember how much you paid for a car?
Right.
How much did you pay for the car in October?
It was $10 grand to pay it all off, altogether.
Okay. Now, Officer Byrd, what is the value, according to the infamous Kelly Blue Book, of the 2006 Chevy Impala?
$6,000.
Okay. So what you paid for the car back in October doesn't sound so actually crazy, because that doesn't include the financing, and you were financing it. So clearly you had a lot more payments to pay out than 4.
Right.
Because you just sort of let it slip that you put down $1,500.
My car payments were $240 a month.
$240. Okay. You had a lot more than 4 payments to make on the car. Anyway, Miss Edwards, how old are you?
20 years old, Your Honor.
20?
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you're a smart enough young lady to look at the Kelly Blue Book to see what the cost of a 2006 Impala was. You do use a computer.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you looked it up. And when you looked it up, it showed the value of it if you would go to buy it from another person was $6,000. Why would you think he was selling you a car for $2,200 that he could sell it to anybody else for $6,000?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So I think that you were just two scammers, both of you. And you got caught in the middle of the hustle. But you knew that the car was worth $6,000 and you were paying 1/3 of the cost.
Your Honor, I didn't know that. He told me that he only had one more payment due on the car, and then...
Why, if he only had one more payment due on the car, would he not make that payment and sell the car for $6,000 instead of selling it to you for $2,000? Then you want me to believe that you're a very, very foolish 20-year-old who would not look up before you parted with $2,200 whether or not you were getting value for your money. Okay, so they repossessed the car.
They took the car back, yes. And I told her, I said, we know what, we should just wait till after I'm done paying the car off and do it. But she also said that she needed the car because she had to get to work.
So is what you're telling me that you want me to believe, that you wanted to pay the car off and then you were going to sell it to her for how much?
I was going to sell it to her for the $2,200. Yeah, because I'm like, we were friends at the time, so... That's why I was like, at first I was just going to wait.
You know what, folks? I can't help either one of you, mostly because I don't believe either one of you. I'm not going to get the legitimate story of what went on here. But I don't believe that anybody who uses a computer plunked down $2,200, believing that for another couple of $100 she would own at least a $6,000 car. Don't believe that that happened. Don't believe you either. So, as a result of that, I'm dismissing your case. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's a dispute over your authority as parents, that you would practically insist that you're of the cat. It's insane!
Next Judge Judy.
He told me to give him $2,200, and I did. Then 3 weeks later, my car got repoed.
And I was just being a friend and helping a friend out.
To get the title first.
I do feel bad.
I wish I never did it.
It is what it is. I mean,
She claimed to be a contractor.
How much money did you pay her in total?
About $25,000.
But he says she's a thief.
I found stolen property of mine. I changed the locks. She climbs under the house, into the basement, upstairs, pummeled me, grabbed my laptop, and ran away.
And her defense gets lost in the shuffle.
Stop playing with the papers. There are more papers there than in the Supreme Court.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Deborah Smith is suing her former employer, Marshall Smith, for the return of her belongings and for damages from an illegal lockout.
Order. All rise. It's case number 157 on the calendar, the matter of Smith versus Smith.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Smith, how did you meet the plaintiff?
3 years ago, my cat needed babysitting, so I initiated her. I re-met her again a year ago.
And when you say you initiated something a year ago, tell me what it was that you initiated.
I had purchased a 100-year-old house, and I was conversing with my friends, and she was present about the problems I was having with fixing the house up. I had hired an inspector, but he didn't do a good job. I needed plumbing, a roof, electrical. There was no foundation on my house.
Were you living there?
I was residing there, yes.
With all those things not being there, no foundation, no plumbing, nothing.
They were operational, but not totally functional.
Now we're going to get back how you came to her to help you with all these problems. Stop playing with the papers. There are more papers there than in the Supreme Court.
He's got a long history, Your Honor. Sorry.
This is going to be very short. Trust me.
I hired an agent to redo the roof, which I knew needed. She offered to do it. She said she was a contractor. She said
she offered to do the roof herself? Or to...
That's what she offered, with a crew of hers.
With a crew?
Correct. but she doesn't have a contractor's license, and she's been on disability since 1992. And I gave her a small portion of the job to put in a solar tube light in the roof.
Did you hire her to do the roof job?
Yeah, I did pay her, yes.
How much?
About $25,000.
To crews to do things in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you acknowledge, Miss Smith, that you were paid to do some GC work, general contracting work in his house?
No, I was not, Your Honor.
You were never paid?
I reimbursed employees that
Don't try to double talk me. Were you ever paid by Mr. Smith for work that you or crews hired by you did on his house?
No, Your Honor. I helped him hire the people. He said he needed people, and he wanted me to oversee the workers for work on his house. I did not employ him myself. He did.
Just a second. I got it. I got it. I got her. I got it. I got her. How much do you get from disability a month?
I don't get disability.
You don't get any kind of disability. Be very careful. You don't get any kind of disability.
I had disability. That's why I met Mr. Smith.
Just a second. I asked you a question. What year did you start to collect disability?
I was injured at one time in 1992.
1992. Mm-hmm. In what year, which is even more interesting, did you stop collecting disability?
2015.
So, according to you, until shortly before you started to do work for him, you were collecting disability.
I did not work.
Now tell me what year.
That has nothing to do with this case.
Oh, it has everything to do with this case. It has everything to do with your last answer. Because when I ask you, well, you paid money to GC, and you start dancing around because if you were paid $25,000 to GC a project, even though you paid other people, then you committed fraud on the federal government. They're going to come looking for you. It has everything to do with this case. You want to tell me why your disability was stopped, if it was?
It had nothing to do with my case with him.
Really? Your case is dismissed. You may be hustling for a long time, Ms. Smith, but you don't hustle me. You don't hustle me. You don't answer my questions, your case is dismissed. Now, according to you, you let her stay in the house while she was doing some GC work on the house. She of course, said in her now dismissed claim that she was a renter and you illegally evicted her, and therefore she wants $5,000. That's what her case was about, that I've just disposed of. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim. The counterclaim says that she proceeded to, after her keys were taken away, to engage in a course of conduct that was harassment, and at one point she broke into your house and assaulted you. You want to tell me about it?
I allowed her to stay in the room as a guest. She lived 40 miles away. I was trying to help her. She had lack of assets. And she disappeared for 3 weeks, and there was a foul order coming from the room.
When was this? Give me the month.
November. Okay. Property of mine, an old flight suit, camera lenses, dog tags, 7 pairs of scissors. It was a total mess. I decided at this point in time that she had been gone for 3 weeks with no communication. Perhaps it was time I changed the locks. She arrives home, she doesn't even try the lock. She climbs under the house where the foundation wasn't yet, into the basement, into the kitchen, upstairs, pummeled me, grabbed my laptop, and ran away.
Did you call the police?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
I'll provide you with all the police...
No, don't give me everything. Just give me the first police report when she came in.
Okay.
And came into the house. When was the last time you had any contact with her?
In court, approximately 3 weeks ago.
What court?
She had filed another motion to dismiss my protection order. She showed up late beyond the roll call and argued with the judge that she was there, and when she wasn't.
You filed the protective order. Was it finally granted?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long do you have the protective order for?
A year, starting March of this year.
And that's to keep her away from your house?
And no contact me.
And no contact. Would you put the papers down that you would want to have any contact whatsoever with Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. I filed a protection order against Mr. Smith in December of 2015.
Was it granted?
Yes, it was.
For how long?
For 30 days, and I came down with ocular migraines and could not make the hearing.
I don't care. Okay. It was dismissed. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, just like his order, because it was default. I was not able to make it.
He has an order of protection against you. That means he can't come near you, which he has not. There's no question in my mind that he has not come near you.
Actually, I've got phone calls, Your Honor.
There's no question in my mind that he has not come near you. So why would... part of put the papers down don't you get? You have no reason to look at papers. I've dismissed your claim. I'm merely addressing the countersuit.
Well, I have evidence for the countersuit, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes, I do.
I want you to tell me how you got into the house in November when you found that the locks were changed.
I was not informed the locks were changed, Your Honor. I have...
I want you to tell me how you got into the house in November when the locks were changed.
That day earlier, the day before, when I was driving there, or actually from 3 days before, Mr. Smith was locked out of the house. He called and he wanted me to come home because he wanted me to let him in the house because he had lost his key.
Yes.
And then he had told me that he had crawled under the house. Well, when I came messages and his employees that worked under me, matter of fact, the day before, he had taken my purse. Mr. Stevens had my purse and had sent it over to Marshall's house, which was my house, because I'd left it in Cooley Down with him, and he had sent it.
Mr. Smith, when was the last contact you had with her?
Approximately 3 weeks ago.
And that was
at the hearing.
Okay, so this is really what you...
Yes, ma'am.
Pay careful attention. This is really what you have to do. You have to tell your lawyer that at some point, your lawyer has to move before the court not to allow her, without a judge okaying it first, to file a petition against you, to reinstate her protective order, to vitiate your protective order. Sometimes when people file serial orders and there's something wrong with them, judges will do that. They will say, before a clerk can file anything, it needs a judge's counter-signature. Do you understand? What does that mean?
I would like to make one short comment.
Yes.
The judge at the last hearing stated she's a vexatious litigant.
I mean, those are nice words. If they were said, that doesn't mean an order.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
By a judge that says, before you may file, you must get judicial approval to do that, which means the judge has to look at the allegations, look at the history of the case, and say, not again on my watch. Do you understand? Your counterclaim is dismissed. You have an attorney. Your claim is for sure dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Doesn't have a contractor's license. She's been on disability since 1992.
My paperwork, that thick, was...
She stole $20,000 to $25,000 away from me.
5 inches, 6 inches of anti-harassment suits that were filed against him.
I think she wanted more money.
I had pictures of 1.5-inch watermelons. He wrote, I love you on them.
No, I did not.
He's a harasser and a stalker.
I don't see myself in jail.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McMurthy versus Sadeghi. Step forward.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry is suing motorist Hamid David Sadeghi for damages resulting from an accident in a parking garage.
Mr. McMurthy, it is your claim that the defendant hit you with his car.
Yes, ma'am.
You were not seriously injured, but you want him to pay your doctor's bills and a couple of $100s for what you claim is lost wages.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think Mr. Sadeghi denies that something happened on a particular day that his car hit you in the back of your leg?
Yes, ma'am.
But he said that you darted out using a shortcut and he didn't see you. So this happened in an elevated parking garage?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this the first level, second level, third level?
The first level.
Okay, how many levels are there in the parking structure?
6, I believe.
Had you just parked your car?
I had just parked my car.
Show me where your car was parked.
This is an incline going up to what would, I guess...
Show me where you parked
this
your car.
Is my
That's
car.
you.
This is my car.
Okay, and then you got out of your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were walking?
I walked up here. He was coming down from the 3rd level, and he clipped me in the back of my left leg.
Okay, right after the turn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you stopped your car?
Yes.
Okay, and got out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Because I didn't see any problem with his legs. And I could not possibly hit him on the right. Only way I could have hit him would have been on the left.
That's for your insurance to figure out.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry says motorist Hamid David Sadeghi hit him while he was walking in a parking garage.
Did you have a discussion with the plaintiff?
Absolutely.
Was he marks on your leg?
The back of my left calf was red.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Because I don't think I hit him on the back of his calf.
Where did you think you hit him?
I don't know if I hit him at all, because what I heard is a bang on my car,
Well,
and I stopped.
that's why you stopped.
Yes.
He says that you hit him. That's what it was.
Yes. It wasn't at the first floor, Your Honor. It was on the third floor.
Just a second. Whatever it is, it's your fault. That's not the issue.
Okay.
Mr. Steak, it's your fault. You're coming around the turn. He's a pedestrian. You're supposed to go slowly enough so you can stop your car and not hit him. Period.
If I hit him.
You hit him. The question is, did you injure him?
Okay.
Because we have lawsuits where there are injuries and we have lawsuits where there aren't injuries. So I'm going to end your pain right now. You are responsible for hitting him with your car. The next question is, what are your reasonable damages? So now I'm going to ask you some questions. This happened in the morning.
It happened at 6 p.m.
Why were you parking in the parking space at 6 o'clock? Where were you going?
I work at the Raleigh Times Bar, and we're open till 2 a.m., and I was working a night shift.
Did you go to work that night?
For an hour.
Just a second. Did
Yes.
you go to work that
Yes,
night?
I did.
The answer is yes. Did you stay for your full shift?
No, ma'am.
What time did you leave?
7 p.m.
Where did you go?
Food on the way to the hospital because I hadn't eaten that night.
Do you have the hospital report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you. Sprain of left knee pain.
And there was an abrasion on the back of my left leg, which I have a picture of that for the following day.
I'd like to see it.
This is the following day, and that's the day after that.
Okay, so you were fortunate. There was no fracture or dislocation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the next thing that you did? After you went to the hospital, they told you, they examined you?
We just went home. The next day, I called David's work, trying to get in touch with him, and he wasn't there, so I called the following day. Got a hold of him, told him that I ended up going to the hospital that night, and that I needed his car insurance information so that I could file a claim. And he became defensive and said that he didn't want to give it to me until he saw my medical bills in person. So I agreed to show them to him.
On what date did this happen?
February 17th.
Of this year?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. What kind of car were you driving?
A BMW 650.
What year?
2007.
Did you have insurance?
Yes, I do.
He does not.
Did you have...
My cars.
Then why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you see a dead cat? Did you see a dead dog? The reason you stopped your car is because you
No,
heard...
because he hit my car with his hand. I have a video.
You have a video of the event?
I would love
I'd
for
like
you
to
to
see.
take a look at that.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry says motorist Hamid David Sadeghi hit him while he was walking in a parking garage.
Now, why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Because at the time that this happened, Your Honor, I asked him if he wants to go to the hospital. I didn't see any problem with his legs. And the story that is shown in the picture, I could not possibly hit him on the right. I have the video that shows that the only way I could have hit him would have been on the left. It was all totally on the blind side, where he's parking his car, that he's identifying and walking across.
That's for your insurance to figure out.
Your Honor, I wasn't going to...
Just a second. That's for your insurance to figure out.
Your Honor, I wasn't going to give a person that I didn't know my insurance information. I asked him if he wants to go to the hospital and file a report.
Okay.
He said he's
Let
fine.
me explain something too for me is get me proof that on February 17th of this year, you had insurance.
Absolutely.
And with what company? I'd like to see it, please. This is from Geico, and your car was, in fact, insured. Well, then I think you made a big mistake, sir, that you didn't report this to your insurance, because you're responsible for his medical bills and for his lost wages.
Judge, if I hit him, then I would.
Yes. Well, even you said you hit him, sir. Did you see a dead cat? Did you see a dead dog? Did you see a log? The reason you stopped your car is because you
No,
heard...
because he hit my car with his hand. Judge, you got to give me an opportunity to show you that that whole drawing is wrong as well. I have a video.
You have a video of the event?
I would love for you to take a look at that.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, and I think there's a video that I can give from the parking garage that you can as well look. If you wouldn't mind, Of course, you hit the play, and then you can see that the way he has shown this drawing, Your Honor, is incorrect. Why would someone...
Just a second. Don't ask me a question, Looking Garage.
Correct, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Mr. McMurtry, did you ever contact a lawyer?
I did.
Tell me when.
In the middle of April, just after he refused to give me his insurance information and he threatened to get a lawyer.
Who threatened?
I have emails here. Once
May I
I
see
received
them?
my medical bills, I contacted David through email.
Okay, I'd like to see them. Okay, and now I'll see your hospital bills.
Sure.
And so you contacted the attorney after the refusal to pay the medical bills?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. How much were the medical bills?
$1,975.19.
And in addition to that, you're suing for $200 for lost wages. I assume that those were the lost wages from the night that you didn't work?
Yeah, it's actually $125. It's roughly an estimate of what I would make on a Wednesday because I make tips, plus my hourly wage. $125 is about in the middle of what I...
Company, sir, they would have sorted it out and it wouldn't have cost you $2,100. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's okay. I still say I didn't hit the kid.
Yes, you can't always give the stranger a benefit of the doubt.
I asked him for every information. He provided me zero information.
He was mid-turn. His tire was sticking out from the side of his car, and that's what grazed the back of my leg.
Zero pictures. You can't have all these scratches on someone's...
It wasn't a bumper, it was his tire.
And not see it as soon as it happens. But it's all good.
Just do the right thing. Everything's fine.
You've tried to maintain somewhat of a civilized relationship with each other.
The good times for these parents were over.
I started reaching through the back window to try to get my tablet. She rolled up the window on me and started bagging back with me hanging out the window.
This is all happening in front of the 3-year-old.
Then the fight turned even more explosive.
He put his arm in my car and tried to take the keys out the ignition. He pulled my gas tank back and tried to put a lit cigarette in there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge
Thompson is suing her daughter's father, 25-year-old Carl McCaskill, for vandalizing her car.
Order. All rise. That's case number 165 on the calendar, the matter of Thompson versus McCaskill.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Thompson, you and Mr. McCaskill were a couple, and you have a 3-year-old child together.
Yes, we do.
I gather from the complaint and answer that you filed that you've tried to maintain somewhat of a civilized relationship with each other, or even going to certain functions together with your daughter. This case is about an incident that occurred at one of those events.
Yes, ma'am.
Where it is your claim that Mr. McCaskill vandalized your car during an argument.
Yes.
His story is quite different. I'm sure he will relate the story to me as he sees it through his lens. When did you two stop living together?
We were never living together. We would just co-parent. We would just sleep over each other's houses, but we wouldn't live together.
When was the last time that happened?
A while ago. It was months ago.
Give me a month. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. Give me a month. That the last time either you stayed over at his house or he stayed over at your house in a co-parenting event. Remember, you want to tell me?
I think it was around April.
April. How do you remember it was April?
My birthday.
So after April, you did not have any co-parenting sleepovers?
No.
But you saw each other on your birthday. That's very interesting. To me, Mr. McCaskill, that's a very interesting thing, that you would select to have a sleepover with Miss Thompson on your birthday if you're no longer together.
I'm not saying we slept together. Yeah, that's around the time, my birthday, not the last time we slept with each other yet.
On your birthday?
Yeah, around my birthday, not exactly my birthday.
I didn't see you.
Okay. You have a little girl, is that right, Mr. McCaskill?
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to tell me when the last time you saw her.
The day of the incident.
What was that date?
Memorial Day, I believe.
Why don't you tell me your version of what happened?
Well, we had the little picnic, party at the park for Memorial Day barbecue. And
who went?
Me, Jelani, my daughter, my mom, her brother, my family. Had a nice little barbecue. When it was time to go, she rode with her brother, I drove her car, and I had my daughter. And my daughter rode together, her and her brother rode together.
Okay, so you were driving
her car,
and your daughter was in the car that you were driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when you finished the barbecue, where were you going?
We headed back to my house.
And was she going to follow you?
She didn't follow me, but she knew where we were going, because we did the picnic in St. Louis. I stay in Illinois.
What was the plan?
Really wasn't no plan I was going to get. We alternate weeks. I keep my daughter for a week, she had her for a week.
So you were going to keep her for the week?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then why were you driving her car?
She was coming back. Her and her brother, they rode.
Because the barbecue.
Shh. Yeah, I just drove her car because I guess she didn't want to ride with me. I drove her over there. Me, her, and my daughter rode together over there, but her brother came later on during the party, and she rode back with him.
So you all came together to the Memorial Day party?
Mm-hmm.
From whose house?
I believe it was my house.
So all three of you were in your house on Memorial Day?
Yes, ma'am.
And what time had Miss Thompson gotten to your house on that date, on Memorial Day? Or was she there the night before?
No, she got there I want to say...
Don't look over there, over here.
I'm sorry. I want to say it was like an hour or two before we went out to the Memorial Day barbecue.
Okay, so she came to pick you up?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a car?
No, ma'am.
And was it the intention that you keep your daughter that week and her car?
No, ma'am. I don't keep her car. No.
Just her? Just your daughter?
My daughter.
Okay. Pick it up from there.
Okay, so we had the barbecue.
You had the barbecue. You were going home. Now you're at your house. The daughter is in your car. She's driving. You're meeting up at your house with her brother.
Yeah. When they pulled up, my daughter was still sitting in. Hadn't nobody else made it back to my house yet. So me and my daughter were sitting in her car, and I had my daughter watching TV about something. Like, she came to me with an attitude. That's how the whole situation started. We argued a little bit. Like I said, it was my turn to get my daughter. Well, she didn't bring my daughter, like, the diapers, the clothes and stuff. None of that was there. You know what I'm saying? So I asked her, could she go get it? She didn't want to.
Okay, so she didn't bring it to your house at all?
No.
You mean clothes?
Clothes, diapers, all that. And that was my issue. I was like, well, I don't have none of this here, so I can't keep her tonight. Either you can go home and get it, or you can just bring her tomorrow with the stuff. That was a problem.
What was the problem? Either leaving her without the stuff or going...
I guess she didn't want to take my daughter back with her. Like, because it was my week, I guess she thought I was trying to push my daughter off on her for the week. Not the case at all. Never had a problem. I kept my daughter anyway that night, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we argued. I put my daughter back in the car because, like I said, I didn't have the supplies for her.
Just a minute. So you were taking your daughter out of the car?
Yeah, when they pulled up, I was taking my daughter. I didn't know we were going to argue. I thought we were going to go in the house, you know what I'm saying? Everybody had a little good time.
So you took your daughter out of the car, and you were holding her in your arms?
Yeah.
And then you had this discussion about where's her clothes?
Yeah.
And she said, I don't have the clothes? So then you said you put your daughter back in her car?
Yes.
Well, that was the suggestion then that she was going to be going home with her mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what happened?
That transpired into a whole little problem because, like I said, she thought I was trying to push her off on her or something. We arguing while my daughter's in the car. I noticed that I had left my tablet in the back seat that my daughter was watching. To get my tablet, she locked the doors. The back windows were down from where I was driving. I started reaching through the back window to try to get my tablet. She rolled up the window on me and started bagging back with me hanging out the window. Got out, she stopped, I got out, never got my tablet.
And meanwhile, this is all happening in front of the three-year-old?
Yes.
Did you ever get your tablet?
I wound up getting it either the next day or the day after that because I told her I called the police on her.
Okay, so she drove off with the tablet?
Yes, ma'am.
Go.
Okay, so his family invited us to a barbecue.
We're past the barbecue.
So before we even left to the barbecue, the reason why he drove our daughter home, because he had an attitude. I don't know why he had an attitude, but you can just sense he did. So that's why I rode with my brother back to his house, to his mother's house, to continue the barbecue because the food wasn't done yet. Because we got kicked out the park because the park closed at 10. So we get to his house. Me and my brother pulled up first. So they pulled up, and we all got out the car. He came back up front, and I asked, my daughter was asking for juice. And I said, she was asking, do they have any juice in the house? And he ignored me. I asked him again, and he said, no, we don't. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll leave the baby with you. I'll go up to this grocery store real quick, get her some juice so she can have some for her food. He was sitting there on the porch smoking a cigarette, and out of nowhere, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, okay. Like, he just started going off off, started calling me out of my name. Literally out the blue, he was sitting there smoking his cigarette. You can tell on his face he was thinking about something. So, like I said, he just out of nowhere said, I can't do this anymore, and started going off. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went to my car. I'm in my car, I'm trying to pull off. He put his arm in my car and tried to take the keys out the ignition. So in the event of doing that,
Did he say my iPad is in the car or my tablet?
No, he didn't say.
Just a second.
Okay.
Was it?
It was. It was. So yeah, I did find it because it was dark. It was late. It was about 10, 11 o'clock when this happened. Okay. So I didn't see the tablet. So I guess he left the tablet in my car when he was driving. I didn't take it from him. But he was trying to take the keys out of my ignition, and he's sitting there just yelling at me saying, and just calling me out of my name. So when he was doing all that, he locked the steering wheel. So my brother was trying to tell him to move so he can fix the steering wheel so I can leave. So in the event of him trying to, I'm trying to get out, he keeps closing the thing like this to keeps closing the door so I can't get out the car. And my brother's telling him to move. He wouldn't move. So finally, he went in the house. My brother fixed the steering wheel. And it was just in neutral. So he fixed the steering wheel. So I'm leaving. The baby, she's crying to stay with her dad. So I'm like, okay, you can stay with your dad. So I gave him the diaper bag. No, I didn't have clothes in there, but I don't feel like I should take care of my house and his house. It's your daughter. Get your clothes. Diapers and some wipes in there. I gave him that. And I sent the baby to her uncle to give to him so I can leave. He came outside. He pulled my gas tank back and tried to put a lit cigarette in there. And so luckily I backed up fast enough for him to he jumped off and I drove away. And so he called me a couple times. I didn't answer the phone. And he called my brother. Well, my brother was still there. My brother called me, and all you hear him in the background screaming and yelling and going off, stuff like that. And my brother asked me, what do you want me to do with the baby? I'm like, it's his week. Just leave her there. He's with her dad. She's safe. And just come home.
So can you tell me why we're here?
He damaged my car, and I want him to fix it.
Well, what did he damage on your car?
The gas tank. He scratched the paint on it, and at one point in time, I wasn't even able to bend the tank, put the gas cap back on my car.
But now you can. So show me a picture of the scratched gas tank. Do you work, Mr. McCaskill?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I build freezers. Well, the freezers be outside gas stations.
And you, Miss Thompson?
I work in retail.
Do you have, other than having this co-parenting arrangement, do you have an arrangement for child support?
No, we do not. I'm currently working on that and trying to get a customer.
I suggest, Mr. McCaskill, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go into an auto body shop, and you buy a little thing of white touch-up paint. When you finish touching up these little scratch on the gas tank, you touch up the other scratch that's below it, the other scratch that's below it in this. What I don't understand is, you both look like really nice people that had a bad day, and you've been doing this co-parenting for a while, so there must be something nice about the way you still feel about each other. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone to the barbecue, you wouldn't have taken the baby. You clearly, Miss Thompson, are smart enough to know that if he has custody every other week, you can have a life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I used to say that all the time. Why are you fighting him? He's a nice enough guy. You know, you made a child with him. He's interested. He wants to be part of the baby that he made. And it gives you an opportunity to have a life.
The only reason why we came up with that is because he wasn't taking her at all. So how that started was I dropped her off one day and left. That's how that started.
Well, that's not so smart, you see.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
How much were the sneakers that you bought?
$190.
Did you pay for his sneakers with a credit card? Don't get any closer. That's fine.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jeloni Thompson says her daughter's father, Carl McCaskill, vandalized her car during an argument.
Now, that's not so smart. You don't want to leave a baby with someone who doesn't want to keep her. That's what I'm suggesting to you. You can't force somebody to be a parent if they don't want to be a parent. I would rethink that. You're absolutely entitled to a life of your own. But if Mr. McCaskill is immature enough so that he feels as if this is somehow some kind of a burden for him, as he said, you were trying to push her off on me for the week, then I would make certain that a court gets involved in seeing how much and when your daughter spends time with each of her parents. Anyway, I don't see any major damage to the car.
But
I'm awarding you $50. Go buy some white paint. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That's my daughter's mom, you know what I'm saying? Especially with my daughter in the car.
Don't want to talk.
I didn't try to blow her. I wouldn't hurt her at all.
Don't want to talk.
And I hope we can get back to the agreement. Like I said, I haven't seen my daughter in like a month now.
Don't want to talk.
I love my baby.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Demersar versus Davison. Step forward.
18-year-old Katie Demersar is suing her ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Malik Davison, for an unpaid loan for Jordan tennis shoes, gas money, and for stealing items from her car.
Ms. Demersar, the long and short of your case is you claim you loaned the defendant money, or actually went shopping with him, and bought him a pair of very expensive sneakers, and you want him to pay you back. Mr. Davidson said that they were a gift, your idea, you were trying to show off because you liked him. Are those the sneakers?
Yes, they are.
Could I see them? Don't get any closer. That's fine. Okay, step back. What do you do for a living, Mr. Davison?
I do landscaping.
Full-time?
Part-time.
What do you do with the other time?
I focus on my football stuff. I play football, so...
For pleasure?
Yeah.
How old are you?
19.
You live at home?
Yes.
So your bills are paid for by your family?
Yes.
And the landscaping business you do all year?
Yes, I do it with my uncle.
So he pays you in cash?
Yes.
How much does he pay in cash?
It depends on what type of hours that I do.
Give me an example on a good week.
Okay, so a good week, for 2 days, I'll make a whole week. I'll make like...
Not like. Eliminate like.
I'll make like $650.
And how many weeks do you work full-time?
About 3.
A year?
Oh, no. About like 7 or 8.
I mean, you don't look like a bad person. You look like a nice person. You know, you make a couple of dollars. You probably don't pay any taxes on this money that your uncle gives you,
Right.
Which is all very, very nice. How much were the sneakers that you bought?
$190.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I work at Panera.
Full-time?
Part-time. I'm going to school to be a nurse.
You live at home?
Yes.
So you have the same arrangement with your parents?
Yes, I do move out next month.
To where?
I'm going to school in Winona State.
So you're going to be going to school full-time?
Yes.
Did you pay for his sneakers with a credit card?
Yes.
Whose credit card was it?
Mine.
Do you have a credit card?
Yes, I do.
Did you have your credit card with you when you went shopping for sneakers?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because I had left my wallet.
Left your wallet where?
Home.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, so you've been doing landscaping business since June in Rochester. It's the
Yeah.
only time you can do anything outdoors in Rochester. This would be the time. You're not doing landscaping in February in Rochester.
Right.
So why didn't you pay her back for the sneakers?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Katie Demersar says ex-boyfriend Malik Davison owes for Jordan tennis shoes, gas money, and stealing items from her car.
Now, why would you leave your wallet home?
Because I was rushing out the door.
Okay, good. And how long, Mr. Davidson, did you know the plaintiff before you went shopping for sneakers with her?
I've known her for about a good 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Were you dating?
We was talking. We was like into the commits of being together.
Now, why don't you tell me what happened when you went to the sneaker store?
Okay, so these sneakers came out and...
What do you mean they came out, they danced out by themselves?
No, no, they was released on a date that everybody wanted to get them, so...
Just a second. She doesn't wear sneakers. Say they were released on the date that you wanted to get them.
Yes.
Okay, so you went running to the store because you had to see these...
Yes.
No.
I had to see these sneakers. And it was the last pair that was in Rochester, so...
The last pair?
Yes.
In all of Rochester?
Yes, size 11. And I said, I really want these sneakers. And, you know, she like, well, I'll get them for you as long as you pay me back. So I said, I don't really feel comfortable with that. I probably don't have the money to pay you back. And I was like a little iffy about it, like if I should say yes or no.
But you really wanted the sneakers?
Yes, I really wanted the sneakers.
So you took them?
Yes. Not took them, she paid for them.
She paid for them?
Yes.
And that was on what date?
It was June.
In June?
Yes.
Oh, so you've been doing landscaping business up the yin-yang since June in Rochester. It's the only time you can do anything outdoors in Rochester. June, July. Yeah, so you're working.
Yes.
All day, 5 days a week. This would be the time. You're not doing landscaping in February in Rochester.
Right.
So why didn't you pay her back for the sneakers?
Because it was a gift.
No, didn't you hear what you just told me, Mr. Davidson?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, you just told me it wasn't a gift. You said I'll pay you back when I have the money.
No, I said I was iffy about it.
I said you were iffy about it. What you said? You want me to play the tape back to you? That's exactly what you said to me. She said, I'll buy them for you if you'll pay me back the money. And you said, I don't know if I want to do it, but it's the last pair in the whole city of Rochester. And I really want them, but I don't have the money now. It's all right. I'll get them for you anyway. You pay me back when you can. And I was sort of iffy.
Right.
$190. Now, what else do you think he owes you for?
He also owes me for the gas he used when I had to give him rides everywhere.
Forget it. What else? Don't waste my time.
He stole my swimsuit, my sweatshirt, my Victoria's Secret sweatshirt out of my car. He stole food out of my car because I'm constantly working, so I have a
Judgment for the
stack of
plaintiff
food.
in the amount of $190. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It wasn't true what he said, that I just gave him the shoes.
She said she was going to pay for the shoes. She paid for the shoes.
We made an agreement that he would pay me back on Friday.
You see what she did? You know, she came on and say, I